That's Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan, and before we get started, I just want to read this little text Wes sent me. Sent me just this text out of nowhere. Make sure I got it here. All right. You just sent me this text out of nowhere. You assume that just because someone is gay, they would like to see a picture of a comically oversized lap hog, and they wouldn't be the least bit insulted, you know? I reply, given the place, but most accounts, I think they wouldn't care. Oh shit! Sorry, Dunigan. That was supposed to be someone else.
Don't you just love like when you get those?
I had to share that.
And then you end up responding to them and everything too.
I one time accidentally, speaking of like Wes right there, I one time accidentally, there's this girl I was into, sent her a text.
Wes a picture.
And it was about certain
like
specifics.
Snapchat.
And it was a picture. No.
And they just is like, whoa, Ryan, holy crap, a little forward there.
I can say I never sent a dick pic. I've never sent a dick pic to nobody, but I'm just like, it's better in person. It's better in person. You don't want to,
You don't want to spoil the fun.
Ain't much worth advertising right there. So just when we meet in person, you're already there. So you know. But one time there's this girl I was kind of seeing, not really. We weren't seeing, but it was a between phase kind of, and sent a text saying, "Look, something I really want to talk to you about." They're like, "Oh fuck, that was what I sent it to Wes," and he was like, "Yeah, man, sorry, that was the wrong person." Like, yeah, I figured.
At least, yeah, it could be bad. It could be worse.
Just like cuts all ties. Yeah, Dunigan sent me a dick pic. I don't know what the fuck that was about. I figured he was gay this whole time. I just didn't know he was gonna be that abrasive about it.
I knew he wanted to fuck me. Just didn't think he was gonna come out finally with it. I thought he was gonna tell me that on like his deathbed or something. He was just gonna like roll out this crumpled up photo, be like, "Oh, I want you to have this." Dude, that's a picture of your dick when you're like 15, 25. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna guess on that one.
15 or 12. Oh, give me some fucking credit, dude.
He's like, "Have you been holding on to that the whole time?" Yes, I have.
Reminds me of the glory days.
It was printed on one of those old like Apple computers where you get they rip the sides off.
the little circles down the whole way. That
you're like, Jesus Christ, hurry up and print this off. Actually, that was kind of nice though. I will say those tracking pad or like little holes sounds like a dumb thing, but you know when you print something and it always sucks the paper in wrong. Mm-hmm. With those tracking holes, you never had that problem. I will say, I got to give it that. There was a reason for those.
Yeah, I kind of, I'll be honest, it was kind of a real revelation when I first saw a printer scanner that didn't have those. Like, whoa, what the fuck? Didn't have the little tracks that have to go in.
You don't get to rip those off. That was like the fun part of it all.
That was the fun part of it. I would actually...
Most of that was like, like a parent would print something off and then be like, "Here you go, Billy. Have fun." Like peeling them off. Like, yay!
I would actually...
Can I get a Game Boy next week? No, you just get more paper.
We're being environmentally conscious here. No, I would actually just use those for like, I don't know why, but like I would like wrap them around the arms of my Ninja Turtles or something. Like, yeah, these are his boxing gloves or whatever. So
I know, like when you're like that's a good time period where you would take something like paper scraps and use that as a toy.
Yeah. I mean, it almost sounds like something like, it sounds like back in my day, we just had a rock and we were fucking grateful. It sounds kind of like that. But you would kind of just have to get creative with things. I remember I had this. It was like Sonic toys. Now you can find Mario, Sonic stuff everywhere. But when I was a kid, Sonic stuff was very hard to find. And I remember there was this like, it was barely a toy, but you took what you could fucking find. It was a Sonic the Hedgehog it was basically a candy holder. You bought like this little miniature, tiny like plastic statue of Sonic. You opened his head up, and there was just a little place for candy in there. That's all it was. But to me, that was the closest thing I had to a Sonic figure. It's like, oh my god, One day that thing's hand broke off, and I think they discontinued them. It was like, oh shit. So what I do? I went into the food cabinet, got a marshmallow, got some glue, and tried to
creativity in overdrive,
and like tried to shape a hand out of the marshmallow. So he just had like this like fucking fucked up claw, that just look like, you thought maybe if I get it just right, because when you're with enough like with enough optimism and stupidity, you assume it could look like, almost something like well crafted, but it just ended up being like this weird white puffy like gob of whatever. And just over time, hair and just like little bits of dirt just built up on this thing, so it looked like he had like this fucked up like dirt claw
infection.
Like he would.
If you had too many of those, then you look like that neighbor to like fucking Andy
like Sid?
in Toy Story.
Sid?
Yeah, he just had a bunch of like fucking marshmallow hand creatures in
like
in your
Leonardo,
closet.
like Ninja Turtles, has like no head, just like a fucking marshmallow, and like fucking
Just every missing piece to a toy is marshmallows.
Luke Skywalker, he could have like a what are those, like pencil compasses? The thing where you attach the pencil as the pointy. What are those?
Compass?
Is that what it is? Just a compass?
Yeah, the one where you can draw circles with it.
Yeah. Like he's like one of the like Luke Skywalker has like a pencil compass for a leg or some shit like that.
And he also has a pencil strapped to it too, so you can also use them to draw circles.
It's dual use.
It's like I also use them for geometry.
No, if a kid strapped that to a Luke Skywalker, he would not be smart enough to be taking geometry.
Well, I don't know. It depends how well he's strapped. If it was like strapped just like some duct tape, then you might want to start asking questions. If it was kind of like well strapped, where he like made it look like, oh, he does kind of have like a pirate leg going on, and there's some creativity, maybe a little bit of soldering involved. I don't know why he soldered to a plastic, but whatever. Then maybe
Took a little bit of
effort.
Maybe made it look like took the little like white paper straps, tied it around there, and make it look kind of like a dual like strap, kind of like brace of some kind or something like that.
Maybe this is when you start to worry, is when he's taken that compass point.
I'm starting to worry because we're looking way too hard into this.
No, if you find that kid with the compass point, like at the Luke Skywalker leg, and it's stabbed into like a bunch of like insects or something, and it's held in his closet like some keepsake, that's when you start to worry.
Like, there's that episode of like fucking King of the Hill when like Dale starts to go crazy, and he has like all these like small insects and animals he's killed that are all just like they're all like impaled on sticks. He's just like, he comes to Bob, he says, "You thought you could cross me. It's okay. So did he." He points like at a cockroach with like
it's just, isn't it paled like,
you just have that whole collection.
Like,
you have that whole like collection in your closet.
Oh, I remember that one.
That's one where he shot the raccoon at the end. It was his pet.
Oh yeah, and his name was Bandit. That's right.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
I love King of the Hill.
Got suddenly sad and nostalgic.
We did. You know what? Actually, I was watching the other day that I haven't seen since I think you showed it to me when it first came out. Was the Speed Racer live action movie, the Wachowskis one.
Yeah, how's it hold up?
I'm like, for a while there, I'm like, I want to just watch that one again because you showed it to me like what it was, 2007. It came out on DVD at least.
It had to be 2008 or 9.
Yeah, maybe it came out. Yeah, something like that.
Came out the same year Dark Knight did. That was
2008. And it's one of those movies like I kind of like what they did with it, but at the same time, it just has this mixed bag feel because it feels like I'm watching a Saturday morning cartoon show for like Hot Wheels, and I mean, I get what they're doing with it. What they want to do is they want to make it feel like it was a Saturday morning cartoon show on the big screen. And I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like something that's like, at some point, I'd love to see a Speed Racer movie that was taken seriously. Because that one is kind of like, it's meant to feel kind of fun and comical and very kid-friendly. And, it gets all the Speed Racer-ness in it, but then it kind of takes it to like a next like place, it takes it kind of like to an overdrive of where you get to this F-Zero, really actually more than anything, it reminds you a lot of Hot Wheels. Like that's what it reminds you of. And then to top it off, that movie does like not hold up very well whatsoever, like graphical wise. Like it literally looks like it's a show that could be on Saturday morning.
I'll be honest, it's been a little while since I watched it, but the thing I liked about that movie is it's one of those things that it's just a combination of things actually. The action is like decent to me. I was never really a diehard Speed Racer fan. I knew about it growing up. I watched it and I liked it, but I wasn't really, like when I was watching the movie, like, oh yeah, Inspector Detector. I forgot about that guy. Oh yeah, there's just literally things like that kind of bypassed me. That I'm like, oh wait, I saw the movie and I remember that character now. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is, I like the story. I actually like the story more than the actual action. And I'm kind of surprised for a kids movie they're able to do like tell a story that was so much about like big business versus little business, and like being in a kids movie and actually going to stock market shit and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like the scene between Speed Racer and the evil corporate billionaire guy when he goes to turn him down. Yeah, that scene I think is very well written. I think the timing's a little thrown off when it cuts back to Spritle and Chim Chim. But the whole scene between Speed and that guy is actually, I thought, very well written. I kind of liked John Goodman was perfect as Pa Racer. I don't know if you could get.
I agree. John Goodman's really.
I think everybody. I mean, like, well, Spritle. Not that Spritle was casted bad. I never gave a fuck for Spritle in the first place. So Spritle, like, whatever, he's there. But I mean, everybody else, I thought that had perfect casting, and I thought everybody did a great job. And I just like that movie. I mean, well, actually, no. Well, I want to say what was his name? The one guy who wasn't that he was bad. It just seemed kind of weird. There was Sparky.
Oh, the snake
no,
oiler?
not Sparky.
Oh, well, Sparky. The weird thing about him is he's got like
he's like Southern
Australian
or something.
British
He's
accent.
like Southern or something in the actual like show, wasn't he?
No, he's got a.
No, like Valley Speed or like
Jimmy
Olsen or something. I thought.
Yeah, he's more like a Jimmy Olsen. That's a better
But
example. Where he's, I mean, I'm not gonna say like that's what he's like. He's British. It's fucking horrible. But
well, it's not. It's not like the Sparky's where that movie fucks up. It's not gonna be that. But I mean, it's more just.
It was a great movie until I saw Sparky in there and that accent. I just couldn't take it.
Punch a hole in the wall and fucking walk out. But no,
you meet those people that literally like something like that small would like be.
I talked to somebody. I mean, you don't have to love the movie, but like, I mean, I think it has its problems. But like Kick-Ass, for instance. I mean, I like Kick-Ass. I think it's a good movie. It has some problems. But I know somebody who's just like, yeah, I was loving it because it was all like realistic and shit, and it wasn't overly stylized. But then you cut to the scene at the end where like Hit Girl is just like dodging guys, and that's like, I'm done with this movie. This is stupid. Like, okay, well, if that scene brought it down for you a little bit, then I understand that. I like that scene actually, but to say that's where
the scene actually brings it up for me.
To say that movie actually brings it down for you, to say it actually kills everything for you right there. Yeah, it just defeats everything else the movie's all about. Fuck that movie because of that scene. Just like that. Like I'm surprised when people can like flip so quickly on that.
Yeah, that's always a weird one. I mean, I understand like if it bothers you, but maybe but when it just says like that ruins the movie for you, like some 5-minute long scene, 10-minute long scenes, like okay.
Especially at the very
end.
I've
seen it before where people have like complained about like accents, like or something like that, And don't get me wrong, like that's something that bothers me too. Like bothers me in the X-Men movies because the whole point about the X-Men is the X-Men's supposed to be such an international thing. And in the movies though, like nobody really has an accent except for a couple characters, like fucking Professor Xavier and Magneto. But like Banshee didn't have an accent, like fucking racist against like the poor Irish people. Or Scottish people, my bad. That's what he is, right? He's Scottish? Yeah. But still, and then like some other. I used to have a list of like I remember just watching, going like just give me the accents. I almost want to say Colossus doesn't have a strong enough accent.
Colossus only has like 3 lines in the entire series.
Exactly, and then those 3 lines, I noticed that there was not enough accent.
I'm just glad he was in Days of Future Past and they gave him something to do. Granted, he still didn't have a whole lot of lines, but he was still there. He wasn't one of the ones. Oh, he died off in 2 minutes in the background. There he is.
Yeah, there he is. Is that Colossus? I don't know. He's kind of silvery. That's why I think he's Colossus. He's like one of those kind of characters. Every once in
a while, like I said this before, like I didn't know Psylocke was in X-Men 3 until I looked in the credits. Like, oh, that was Psylocke, that chick that did nothing and just like died at the end. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean that's why it's like one of those ones. The accent thing bothers me, but I still love those movies. So I mean, I'm not. Those are just small things that I feel like, is that really that hard to add in there? I mean, like, did that cost, an extra $20,000 just to have an accent? Mm-hmm. Or whatever. But back to Speed Racer, though.
Like, I think
that's the one. It's like, this sounds like a weird thing. That Speed Racer, it kind of reminds me of, like, it's sort of like the Batman and Robin version of, like, Speed Racer. And this sounds like a weird thing, because I really like Batman and Robin. I kind of want, like, a Dark Knight version of Speed Racer, where the material is just taken really seriously. I don't mean, like, you're kind of laughing at that, but I mean,
I just got the image of this.
I know that Speed Racer is like a '60s thing, and I know that sometimes when things are so old, it's hard for people to like look at them like nowadays.
I'm not laughing at your suggestion,
but I just think that you could really do a Speed Racer, I think, and make it serious. I mean, not that it'd be like rated R serious, but like PG-13, treat it like the material, mean, you're laughing like somebody who, like, in
No,
1989,
no.
I want, like, a Batman that's serious.
No, I'm not
Fucking Batman's serious.
I'm not laughing about that. I mean, I actually agree. I would like to see that. I'm laughing just because I thought of like the movie Drive, but with Speed Racer. That's what I imagine.
Yeah, literally, like Drive. That was a good movie. Make it like that one, but with Speed Racer. Except for, like, that movie, he's, like, banging a lot of people, so maybe that's, like, what the movie would end up being, like.
He's just like, because the thing about Drive, when you watch that movie, like, all right, I guess it's rated R because they probably say fuck once or twice, and a little bit of violence. Oh my god, that bitch's face just blew up, you know? So it's like one of those movies that just threw a curveball at you.
Oh, no, I wasn't thinking Drive. What the fuck am I thinking of? Now I know what you're talking about. What was that movie that had Thor in it and he was racing?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
It was a Ron Howard movie.
Howard movie. I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
That one was really good. For some reason, that's what I thought you were talking about. But no, I know what you're talking about now with Drive. Because I was like, people's faces, I was like, there was like just a lot of, it was more like 70s, like, yeah,
that one dude got into a car crash. That one dude got into a car crash.
And then he, like, a month later, he was driving again, because that's how powerful it was.
Mm-hmm. I need to see that movie.
That movie almost could be. You could just make it like Speed Racers, like Chris Hemsworth, and then that guy's like Racer X, and somehow, some way, we tie it in that they're brothers.
I think that movie's actually based on a true story.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
that's his Japanese.
But that's what I mean, though. Is like, take a movie kind of like that. I mean, keep it serious. Don't make it like so grounded in reality that like we lose maybe like the coolness of Speed Racer. Like, don't get rid of the gadgets. Don't take away maybe like sort of like this. I guess you'd say the slight over the top of the characters. But still keep it just serious, you know what I mean? Make it like a, almost like how a Batman comic is, where we still get our sci-fi fantasy in it just a bit, but it's still very real. It's still dark. These are pressing issues.
I was thinking, like, what if like before every race, they have to do this before every race. He just leans in over like Spritle and Chim Chim. You stay the fuck out of my trunk. Stay the fuck out of my trunk. I'll beat the shit out of you. Hey, what's going on there, Speed? Nothing. You fucking saw nothing. You saw nothing. He's like doing that shit to Spritle. Looks at
He
Chim.
fucking slaps Spritle, then slaps Chim Chim.
Like, puts his hand up like he's about to slap Chim Chim. He's like, covers his face. It's like, stay the fuck out of my car. If I find another shit in there, you're fucking dead. Ghost song. So like, that just keeps.
It's not your safety I'm worried about. Every time you go in there, it's just filled with shit. And not shit like toys, literal shit. That monkey shits everywhere in that car.
And he drives up. He's like,
because you feed him fucking candy all day long, Spritle, you fucking idiot.
That monkey's gonna die of fucking diabetes.
I'm surprised that monkey's not dead yet.
It's gonna die of fucking diabetes. It's gonna have to lose its fucking leg at some point. Let's see you guys go on your little wacky adventures when he's walking around on one fucking arm.
And you have to fucking put insulin in him every 10 minutes.
Just to get you off your ass, make you fucking work out, have to carry this stupid fucking monkey everywhere with you. If your ass and do
maybe then you'll lose some weight, you fat fuck.
Punches the kid in the gut.
Speed, you ready?
Yeah, sure thing, Paul.
Ready to go. Sure thing, Dad.
Punches Spritle in the gut and walks out. No wonder you have no friends at school. Yeah, fuck the Wachowski movie. Let's make this.
As I said, like, I like that Wachowski one. I don't think it's a bad movie.
I do too.
But I do think
I like it too.
It's one of those movies where it's like it's Speed Racer and it's not Speed Racer all at the same time. Like, they capture the characters. They capture, like, certain, like, kind of scenes and feel to it and tones. But then they also, it's almost like, I don't know if it's exactly, I can't imagine it being them. I mean, or not being them, because, I mean, they probably had full control in that movie. But it does have that feel like, almost like a producer came in and said, like, okay, we can't really get the rights to Hot Wheels, but we got the rights to Speed Racer. But I really want a Hot Wheels movie. My son wants a Hot Wheels movie. Now make me that fucking Hot Wheels movie, but use the Speed Racer characters. It almost has that feel.
I think that probably what happened was maybe, I don't think Wachowski's really like kind of given to that so much, but I think that they probably took inspiration from, I mean, I don't know how much control they had over that, because that was the only movies they had by that point was Bound,
and Matrix.
The Matrix trilogy,
and then Assassins.
Assassins. They just wrote Assassins,
just wrote
right?
It, but I mean, like, it's still kind of like their technical first movie.
So maybe that right there. I mean, maybe I don't think there was anything at some point like maybe the movie itself at one point was supposed to be in place of that property, it was going to be a Hot Wheels movie or some bullshit like that. But then they got the Wachowskis and like, well, we got an idea for a Speed Racer because they wrote that movie as well.
Yeah, they wrote and directed it. And produced it, I think, too. So.
It's one of those movies that, like, the story itself, I think, is very well done. And I think, like you said, they had the characters just down. All the actors were perfect for those characters. Even though I know it was John Goodman and God, she's a big
Emil
actress.
Hirsch.
Emil Hirsch, yeah, but Christina
Oh
Ricci,
yeah,
and then
Christina
there's the
Ricci,
mom,
and
the
then
the,
Susan
the
Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon. That's who I was thinking of. Even though I thought they were all perfect, I did not once even kind of think that, oh, that's John Goodman. It didn't cross my
No,
mind.
John Goodman just
So
that just seemed like, oh, that fucking is, you know,
I
speed
can be
up.
very forgiving because I know that movie's flawed and I know I can't recommend it to everybody, but I can be forgiving. If you do like something else good enough, I can let other things. Well, that's not perfect. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but that's enough for me to like the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like as I said, like I enjoy it. It is one of those ones like, I mean, you do watch the race scenes, and I guess from being a big Speed Racer fan as a kid, you do kind of think it's like, because Speed Racer is a pretty serious show when it gets down to. I mean, I know it's a '60s show, so sometimes people go look back, and then the dubbing might change it just a little bit for some people. But when the storyline's pretty serious, people fucking die in it. I mean, in the Speed Racer movie, like when they crash, they get a little orb and go back. So it doesn't have that same effect. I mean, in the fucking title scene, there's that guy that gets knocked off the edge and he goes over and blows up in this humongous
Explodes.
explosion that's like 10 times bigger than any normal car. So God knows what he was driving.
Don't be surprised if they actually probably take another stab at a Speed Racer reboot and try and go Fast and the Furious with it.
That was the other one I was gonna say. Is I had that when I was watching Speed Racer, I was like, this Fast and the Furious would also be another good song. Now I don't mean like making it kind of like urban and like speeds fucking like down there like racing for pink slips and stuff. But even if it was kind of like that, whatever. I mean, but just kind of treat it like it's an adult movie. I guess. I guess that's what I'm kind of getting at. Don't treat it like it's a kids movie. Just treat it like Dark Knight. I think that's a good example of like kind of what I'm trying to say is Dark Knight, but just still keep just a bit of the flair. Like make Speed, like make sure he's always wearing his costume. Like don't have him really wearing anything else. Make sure Racer X looks like Racer X. Make sure the cars look like the cars. Looks like they're like models out of like 1950 prototype cars. Don't change any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, Racer X, I mean, he was basically the same outfit. It just they changed the color scheme, right? It was black instead of white, right?
I thought the outfit was pretty much the same. I mean, give or take, some like small details.
It was like the same design, but I thought it was like black instead of white. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. We're still.
Is
I
he
can
wearing
tell who
black
that's
in the
supposed to
movie?
be. I think he's wearing black.
Okay,
in the
because
movie.
in the show he's wearing white.
I want to say in the show his mask is black and his shirt is all white.
Yeah, he's wearing a
with
white
the red
jumpsuit.
X with like a red X going across. Where I want to say in this it's all black, but it still has the
And
X.
his hat's white and he's got black X.
Something like that. Yeah, it works.
Yeah. No, Racer X, I think they did a really good job. I mean, as I said, like all the characters are really good and the cars look really good. But I will say those special effects, it's kind of like, oh yeah. I mean, like, I watch. I mean, like, I don't even know if that. I mean, it looks like. I bet you there's a show on Cartoon Network that has better looking CG than that. And I know it's very stylized CG, so I know like the whole point is it's kind of supposed to look somewhat cheesy. Because even at the time when it came out, it looked dated. It looked like it was like 1995 like CG.
Still, I think.
But done really artistically. If that makes sense.
Still think there are scenes in that though that actually are pretty like, even though like some of the more comical scenes, like the flashback to like Trixie and Speed when they were kids and when he was in the classroom, I thought some of that stuff worked pretty good. It's more just the sprite. It's more like
I like
the
all
comical
that.
shit like Spritle and that bullshit was where it was all just like whatever.
I don't even think the Spritle and Chim Chim stuff's like too bad.
I just never liked Spritle.
I mean, because I would say even in the serious version, you still have to have Spritle and Chim Chim. You can't go without Speed Racer.
I think that they would just have to
Chim.
just be sitting on the sidelines the whole time. And every time he pulls up to the stop line, up to the goal line, he just looks over at them, just does a thing like his eyes points at them, like he's pointing his two eyes and then pointing at them, just
they
like
flinch,
like all the way from the car. He just puts his hand up like he's gonna slap them. They still flinch. And then Paw Racer looks down at Spritle, does the same thing.
Just everybody. And then Ma Racer looks down at them. And then fucking Racer X drives by. He's like, why does that man always put his hand out like our older brother used to do?
He's like the best. No one wanted Spritle. Spritle just kind of happened,
Yeah, it's like Sprite's like the good for nothing kid. He's never gonna be a good racer. He's just gonna grow up to be that fat like kid who's just like living off fucking speed and Racer X's like checks. Not doing anything. He's fucking got his Xbox Live hooked up.
He's gonna have a VH1 special at some point.
He's like he's playing like Gran Turismo on PlayStation. Just go like, yeah, I could be a super racer if I wanted to, but fuck it. Why? Why try Chim Chim?
He has like a
and
lot
Chim
of.
Chim's just got this huge beer gut, and he's just like drinking out of a keg the whole time.
By this point, he did lose a leg to diabetes, so he has like a peg leg.
Chim Chim, get up and get me another beer. Give me another beer, Chim Chim. He's still wearing that stupid fucking kid's hat. He's like 26 by now.
Do they by day that he just plays like competitive like Gran Turismo and stuff, but then he hits like the club scenes at night. But he's like one of those like he's kind of living off his brother's paychecks, like you said. So he's just kind of like this really douchey, like entitled like club kid that no one really likes, you know.
And he's just like this kind of like game master, like not to put a stereotype on that, but he's just literally like does that thing where he's like, yeah, I could just like live off being a Twitch account guy.
I'm Spritle Racer, don't you fucking know me? You know,
fucking celebrity.
This is getting thrown out of a club. He gets like, you know, gets into a DUI on the way home. Chim Chim dies.
The cops pull him over. They're like, the monkey's fucking driving.
Chim Chim dies right there.
Like, sir, you can't have a monkey drive, especially when that monkey's missing one leg.
He looks over.
So if he had two legs, he could drive. No. Wait a second. Let me rephrase that. The monkey just can't fucking drive. He's not a designated driver. Especially also when he's super intoxicated. Look, he's fucking drinking 3 beers right now.
The monkey just starts like choking on its own vomit. Like, Chim Chim! Chim Chim, no! Cut to like months later at the funeral.
It's just like, Sprite's just like, I got no more reason to live. He was the only one. Who's gonna get me a beer now? Who's gonna get me one? Racer exits the speed just and like the rest of them are like, let's just go now. Let's just leave him here for a bit.
Awkward. Like, yo, they feel they have to go up to him because he's their brother. Like, yo, Spry, just hope you're doing okay. And like, can I call you at some point? Like, ooh, I'm busy. But you know what? I can get my receptionist. Okay, I'm gonna call her and I'll get back to you. I'll always get back to you. So, you know, he's going to like slap him.
I'm your brother.
He's going to slap him on his back, but then he like flinches. He's just like, oh right.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Bad drama. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, you got you know my people. You can call my people, and they'll let me know.
Can I have your house? No, I don't think Spritle. No. You know, call my agent. He'll get around to sending me forwarding it at some point.
You have like 5 bedrooms. Yeah, I do.
I like to sleep in different ones each day of the week.
It's part of my sleep schedule. You understand? Anyway, you have a good one. You take care of yourself. All right, bye.
There he goes. There goes the racer.
The song fades away the further he gets away.
Spritle's just sitting there, just like there's just a picture of Chim Chim on there, like on the gravestone.
He just spirals down worse into like drug abuse and all that. It gets like his own VH1 special.
He does. Like, where are they now? Spritle Racer.
The Grand Spritle, the Spritle Racer. The Gran Torino champion.
He's applied to play in Fast and the Furious 14 25 times.
They gave him a cameo. By cameo, he's just like he's just a valet driver for like Vin Diesel in one scene. Then Vin Diesel slaps them out of the scene.
And he flinches before he gets slapped. He was a pretty bad actor, actually.
Had a one-night stand with Lindsay Lohan, then he got AIDS.
Now he's blowing dudes on the street.
There blows Spritle Racer.
Taking that money to the zoo. He's got to go look at those other chimpanzees.
He's just saving up to buy like a new chip. Like, that one! That looks like him! I want him back!
He's just at the zoo throwing peanuts at the chimps. Come to me! Come to me, Chim Chim!
Sir, you have to leave. No, I miss him. I miss him.
He gets really heavily into like Hinduism. He's like, he will be resurrected. I know it. I'll find him.
Oh man. Even goes into that when that doesn't even work. He just goes into occultism, trying to like resurrect him through like the Book of the Dead or some bullshit.
He tries everything.
Just doesn't work.
The Necronomicon failed me. Then one day, Racer X gives the call of Speed. Yeah, Speed. I hate to tell you this, but well, I mean, it's not really horrible news. You know, it's like, oh, what happened to the car? Oh, no, the car's fine. You know, I would have called you earlier if that was the case. But I mean, this happened like a week ago. I left a note on the table that reminded me to call you. Hell, I haven't called Pops yet, but Spritle hung himself. Oh, he did? Uh-huh. Don't want to sound like an asshole, but I really thought that was going to happen like a week after Chim Chim died. I mean, literally. Did you ever see him anywhere about Chim Chim? Yeah, you're right.
I'm surprised it lasted him 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. That's pretty good for Spritle. That was most drive he had for anything. Anyway, how's
we're gonna have a service for him, or can we just kind of get him cremated and call it a day?
Cremated? Yeah, let's go. Just call it a day. And there's no need to.
That's what Pops probably wants. He probably doesn't want to get up to go see.
Calls him back later. Yeah, Mom and Pa are actually taking it pretty good.
Yeah, they said they kind of knew it. They about 9 years old. They realized that he wasn't really going anywhere.
he's he's like, well, what Mom and Dad have to say? Well, Mom said it ruined her afternoon, but that's where it stops.
She took it.
Then
kind of hard.
Then Dancing with the Stars came on, and it was just like she forgot,
Yeah, that was it. So yeah, see you at Christmas.
See you then. Shit, we should make Spritle Racer the movie.
I just want to see the Spritle Racer movie. Fuck making that Dark Knight Speed Racer one. Actually, no, I still want to see that, but still, I love just to see like the spin-off, just Spritle only movie. But it's kind of like Big Fan, sort of, where it's just this like shitty downhill spiral. Except for make it funnier though. Big Fan wasn't funny enough.
Big Fan. Well, you think Pat Oswalt, you think be funny?
Yeah, you just expect it to be really funny. Big Fan was almost more like sad and depressing, but not nearly as funny as it should have been.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think it's one of those movies that, like, it sounds like the perfect setup for, like, something we would laugh at, but then, like, oh, it's all just kind of sad, rather than where we would go, and then this happens, that happens. It's just kind of sad, really. It's not even that it's, like, ultra sad. It's just more of, like, such a slow drag. And, like, I watched Big Fan again, and the second time around, I like that movie a little bit more. I don't know if I feel the need to own it or anything like that, but I like that movie a lot more. Second time around, I watched it. And it's more of like, it's not that it's just so depressing. I mean, it is kind of depressing, but it's more than anything, it's just such a slow drag. And I think though it's almost kind of sad or depressing about it, not trying to get too personal here, but I think like that's one of those things like I'm not that guy, but I'm like, oh wow, if I did procrastinate enough or did do enough of this or enough of that, I could become that guy. I think that's more the thing. It's more of a cautionary tale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all have the potential to be the Big Fan, but it's a matter of like, do you take the steps to not be that guy?
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right, well, I got this knocked out of the way, I got that knocked out of the way, so I'm no longer that guy, or I'm not that guy. But that's one of those things where you kind of have that worry, because I remember I saw that movie like in my like early mid-20s, and I was just like,
it come out 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, it came out somewhere around there. It came out when I was in my early 20s. It was like, oh, okay, don't be that guy, because I was still living in my folks' house at the time. Like, all right, don't be that guy. Yeah.
Well, I remember because Cisco invited us all over to watch movies, and he always picks the strangest movies for like these like buddy get together movie watching nights.
He does.
Like these movies that like
it's not they're bad movies, but they're just like weird ass fucking movies. All right, don't get me wrong. It's been a little while since he's been on the podcast. I love Cisco. He's one of my best friends, but he picks some weird ass fucking movies that I'll sit in a group with.
Yeah, like I remember like one time he made this big deal about coming over to show me this crap, what was it? It was one of those like
Is it the beer documentary?
No, I never saw that one. No, that's not that weird, but it was a fucking, who's the guy that shot John Lennon?
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember
such a blank right now. But like, it was one of the new. It was kind of like the better version of it, And
not Chapter 27, but the other one.
Not Chapter 27, but the other one. I want to say like it's called something like The Man That Shot John Lennon. It's something that's pretty like kind of gets to the point right in the title.
I wonder what this is about.
Yeah, does he live? But I remember he came over to like watch that movie. Like it's like that was like 2 hours and 2.5 hour long movie, but just like this really heavy drama. Like nothing really funny in it. It's all serious. It's all like it's an interesting movie, but it's just such a weird like. Come on, guys, let's get together. We're gonna watch this real dark movie and just have a good hell of a time. Movie. You get together and you watch something like, you may watch like a fun horror movie, or you watch something like fucking, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Avengers.
You watch you just watch like one of those ones where you can like, laugh and cheer and have a good time, Yeah, like a comedy, American Pie, Office Space, something like that. But
Die
yeah,
Hard.
those weird like just really serious dark dramas. It's such a strange one.
Well, he really wanted to show me this documentary about independent craft brewers. I think it's just called Beer Wars, and it's not that it wasn't interesting. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah. And then there's also like he wanted to show of all the games. I mean, of all the ones that you could show, I want to say was what was it? I mean, it wasn't that it was good. It had one of my favorite actors in it, Woody Harrelson. But like Game Changer, I think it is,
Oh yeah,
which is the it has Julianne Moore, Woody Harrelson, Ed Harris, and it's all about the 2008 presidential election and like how like working with Sarah Palin was a nightmare.
yeah. No, he did the same thing too.
And that
Brought
was a
that one
good
over too.
that was a good movie.
That one at least had a bit of comedy in it, I guess you could say. Like at least it was a little bit more like it wasn't like that serious like where that John Lennon one feels like a movie you just kind of like watch by yourself. You're like, I just need to watch a serious drama.
Well, even that movie it was still, even though it was good, it does not come to mind as like, hey guys, let's all get together and watch this movie about the political like campaign from 2008.
Yeah, something that like people in 20 years will have no idea what the hell this is all about.
Well, if you look at that, I mean, because that is a good movie, and I'm not criticizing his taste in movies because he does like some good movies.
And as I said, it was a very enjoyable movie. It's not like it's a.
It's almost like, hey guys, let's get together. Let's watch Schindler's List.
Yeah, we'll get some popcorn. We'll get some beers. We'll hoot and holler at our favorite scenes.
Every time they sing "Sie Heil," we take a shot. No, but there's also
having
like
a friend that would just like throw Schindler's List on in the background, like it was just kind of like Home Improvement or something. Like just like here, just throw this in the back.
There's our friend. He was like, I remember he was having, it sounds so shitty and tasteless. So our friend Cass, he was having Holocaust summer, and he was just like every day he would watch a movie about World War II, and like Schindler's List eventually made that list. Like, yeah, man, World War II is really interesting to me. So every day during the summer, I'm going to watch a World War II movie or documentary. And one day we were over, just happened to be watching Schindler's List.
No, he really likes that movie. That's exactly what I was talking about. He literally would just throw that movie on in the background, like it was just like kind of like his go-to movie, like those kind of movies you can throw on at any time. Like for me, it's like Captain Ron or Son-in-Law. I can just throw that on. I've watched them 1,000 times, but they're just always good to me. That was like Schindler's List was like that was like his movie. And it's just kind of a weird thing. It's just like I just throw it on. It's just entertaining, It's just a good story, man. Like you can just watch it over and over. I'm like, oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have that movie. I enjoy it. I've only really watched it like 3 times.
This watch, I could have given this watch the car. Why did I give the car? Oh, that's Schindler.
It's just like where like you're quoting the movie and everything too because you've watched it that much.
No, there's like what was the one for me? It might seem a little weird, but I mean I haven't put it on in a while. But a movie I could just kind of put on in the background just while I work on something. There's a good handful of movies for that. There's Departed. There is Clerks. There's In Bruges. Another one which may seem a little weirder is actually Red State. I can just throw Red State on just because I love the writing in that movie so well. And I know how bleak and how dark that movie is, but it's written so well, and I think all the actors do such a good job. I can just kind of listen to them, just kind of rattle off in that movie. Office Space, another one.
Yeah, Office Space is always a good one too.
Did you hear, I mean, not trying to go too off topic here, but did you hear that wasn't the original ending for Red State?
No, I didn't hear that.
Kevin Smith had a talk a little while, not a little while. When the movie came out, I was listening to an older talk of his. Original ending was the rapture happened, like that part when you get to the end. And
that actually sounds kind of. Did he mention that in the special features?
I don't know if he did, but he says
because do you have the special edition of it?
I just have standard edition, which has
okay. Maybe because that sounds familiar. I think he said that because there's on the Blu-ray there's a big documentary or so like
he says the way he kind of went into detail like at one of his Q&As, and it was like right a little after Red State came out, and he said the part when at the end when Avon Cooper gets up in John Goodman's face, he's like shoot me now. His chest explodes, his head explodes. Everybody, all the 5 pointers, like the cultist people, they all like their chests explode and their heads explode all right there. There's one left, and then like John Goodman covers his eyes for a second, and then he looks, and then there's like there's a person, like there's a sword through him, and then like someone like flings them off the sword, and you see it's like he sees an archangel. He just looks at John Goodman, puts his fingers to his lips, and then flies away. As he looks up at the sky, as he flies away, he sees the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse riding down towards Earth, and John Goodman just gets this like terrified look and just cuts to black and credits.
Huh. I think he did explain it, because now that you mention that sounds really familiar in the special features.
Which and he said the only reason he didn't do it is just because
Budget.
That's like a $5,000 ending for a $4,000 movie. A $5 million ending to a $4 million movie, I believe he said.
Yeah. Wasn't that movie $6 million though?
I don't remember. It was something like that.
Yeah.
But still, I don't remember the exact how much it cost. But still, that was actually. I mean, I would have loved to see that ending right there.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that movie still the way it ends and how he's in the room with the FBI agents was it FBI?
Aren't they the ATF?
They're ETF. Yeah, ETF. He's talking to them, and he has that speech about the dog at the end. That's all fantastic, but I still would have loved to see that ending right there.
No, yeah, that would be really cool. I actually finally got Tusk the other day because for the longest time that was a movie I couldn't find it on fucking Blu-ray, and I just didn't really feel like buying it off the internet. I was like, I'm just going to magically find it one day, and I found it was actually like the last one at Target. I was like, which seems like a weird place to be able to find that movie, but...
That's where I got mine.
I've yet to watch special features, though. It's sitting there in this big fat stack of movies that need to be watched, but...
Special features are pretty short on that thing.
All right, did you get a Blu-ray copy?
I got the Blu-ray copy. It was my first official Blu-ray.
That's sad, because Kevin Smith, I noticed his special features have kind of declined over the years. Like, because there was a time period, like, you know, you got Clark's X, and you got Mallrats, and Chasing Amy, and Dogma, and even Jersey Girl they all have a ton of special features on them. Clerks 2 has a lot. But after that, you know, they kind of dropped down. You know, Cop Out doesn't really have much. Red State had like a short documentary, like 40 minutes, which that's still actually pretty good. But compare to the other Kevin Smith stuff, you know, like
I never really saw the Jersey Girl special features. I think almost because like maybe I'm wrong here, but I want to say is like his movies came out on DVD. They were almost not all of them. Jane and Silent Bob's an exception, but that was probably one of his most expensive movies at the time. I want to say his other movies, they kind of came out on DVD later, or got re-released on DVD later down the line, and that's where we got all this stuff saved up for the special edition type shit. And I think that's almost kind of where a lot of it comes from. Maybe I'm wrong there. That's just a guesstimate.
No, because I say that because they came like Jay and Silent Bob had special features all on it.
That's the big one. That's a big one. But like Clerks, go ahead.
I mean, obviously Clerks, the original one, because it was on VHS. But so when it came out on DVD, it had special features. I mean, that's different though, you know. But even Chasing Amy on Laserdisc had special features. Was
that right off the bat? The special edition for Chasing Amy, or
yeah,
it was okay.
Because the DVD copy that I have, and I think it's the same one you have. That's like
collection.
That's the Laserdisc version.
Okay, maybe it did. I don't know. It just sort of seemed. I was just kind of a guess. I mean, I'm guessing Mallrats and Clerks later down the line probably got more bigger special edition type stuff. And Chase.
Well, because if you get that second version, like the 10th anniversary of Mallrats, I think they got like 15th anniversary now. But then you get that extended cut that's got like all these other scenes that aren't even in the first one. Did you watch that one? I
never got that one. I've seen the deleted scenes, but I've seen them kind of like out of order, just in the not like lined up in the movie, but more of just separate from themselves. You know.
It's kind of cool. It's like it's not really like I don't want to call it like it replaces the other one, but it's just more like if you want to watch Mallrats again, but you want to watch it like in a completely different way.
Well, there's a whole other like side story. Like he accidentally, the reason why the girl's dad hates TS is because he was running some kind of like political like party of some kind and accidentally caused like some weird stunt to make it look like someone was about to get assassinated or something, like some really over the top thing.
Yeah, that's the intro.
Yeah. So that's one of those things that they had like a thing where like Brody, he's already narrating, but Brody was narrating and he kind of was narrating from the end of the movie and saying, "Oh yeah, and I'm also like on the like Tonight Show or whatever." So it had all like this big, much bigger, grander scale to it at the very beginning, but as it went down, it kind of worked its way into that.
I mean, as well as was, if you get a chance, go out and buy that version. I think they got them on. Well, it's kind of hard to find on Blu-ray. I think you almost have to order it from like the UK, but for some reason, unless they changed that, but last time I looked.
We're going to take a quick break right here, but now a word from our buddies at Painted Black Podcast. Take a listen.
I'm Pete, that's Brian.
Yeah.
There's Lou. We are Painted Black Podcast. We are Painted Black Comics.
If you could describe the show, what would you describe it?
horribly offensive.
Balls to the walls.
A good time.
I don't know.
Very
Unprofessional. I wouldn't be
Bang,
surprised
zoom!
if fucking Barney heard some screaming from next door.
Hey, yo, Fred, I got kicked out of the house. Can I stay with you guys for a little bit? No, Barney. We're not friends like that.
You better go stay with the zoo.
Dum-dum, you should have said yes to your wife. Can you imagine what Disney World would have been like had he lived longer?
No Jews. That's the primary difference.
I feel like he funded the Nazis in some way. I can't prove it.
The first fucking model of their helmet had ears on it.
Oh, the Basketeers are coming over the hill. What the fuck's going on?
Dosan sounds like a Renaissance painter.
He was the fifth Ninja Turtle. He wasn't right in the head. They didn't really bring him out too much. I'd like to fight the foot.
That's probably why they had those stupid ass toppings.
Bubble gum.
Fuck, who let those Sans order the pizza?
I want
again?
stink bug.
Who put Legos on this shit? Can I give you money for sex?
I would enjoy making a transaction for a blowjob.
Can I get a receipt with that pussy?
Oh yeah, how do I follow this?
Do you wash those briefs with starch?
Make that booty clap. Why don't you?
Let's hear Randy Newman doing the song for Pompeii.
Oh, he's on the spot.
Whoa, it's smoke. Volcano. Whoa, it's the smoke. Vesuvius.
Well, on another topic, did you actually hear or see anything with that Power Rangers fan film?
I watched that little clip you showed me.
I sent you.
Yeah.
I sent that to you. Yeah, wasn't that fucking awesome?
Yeah, it looked. It reminded me a lot like Power Rangers Terminator style. Because maybe that's just because I just watched Terminator again like 2 days before you sent me that. So like it had just had that feel when he's like walking down, you see all the people down there, kind of like in the underground areas and whatnot. Just mind like when Kyle Reese in the future is walking through, they got the dogs and whatnot protecting like from the Terminators. No, that looked really cool.
For the people who probably haven't heard about it yet, I'm sure if you're on the internet and listen to a podcast like this, you've probably heard about it by this point. But basically, right now they're trying to do like a big live action reboot of Terminator for the big screen.
You mean Power Rangers?
And what'd I say?
Terminator.
Terminator? Okay.
Well, they
Power
are doing
Rangers.
Terminator 2 or Terminator 5.
Terminator 5 reboot / sequel, so that's going to be interesting. I am looking forward to that still. But this one, they're doing a new Power Rangers, and in all honesty, I don't really give a shit so much. I mean, maybe when I see a trailer, maybe then I'll be a little bit more curious, but as the moment stands, I don't really give a shit. I just think it's probably just a cash grab. But the guy who, he does a bunch of fan films, so the guy who produced Homefront, and not Homefront, that's some other movie. Lone Survivor. He produced Lone Survivor and some other movies. I think he's also the producer of Dredd. He's one of the producers of Dredd, I believe.
Ah, okay.
He went and directed a couple of like short films. He did like a short film for Punisher starring Thomas Jane called Dirty Laundry. He did another, and he did this one right here. And he says like, I was never really a diehard like Power Rangers fan, but I was kind of curious to see what I could do. Oh no, he was. I don't remember who it was exactly, but like somebody involved with it, like the producer, the director of this movie, says I was never really a diehard Power Rangers fan, but I wanted to see what I can do with something I wasn't a fan of, but still be truthful to it and do a good job. And they made this Power Ranger movie that's never going to happen. This short film one that's about I think 17 minutes long, and it's just this dark, gritty.
I don't think it was that long, was it?
17
like
minutes.
14. It had like long ass credits in it too, so it was like 11 or 12 minutes long.
Maybe it was that, but it didn't really feel like too rushed or anything. It was like this short film that was just like the Power Rangers are all grown up now. They have kind of fucked up lives. Being Power Rangers had a long-term effect on them. One of the Power Rangers screwed them over. There's only really 2 left or 3 left, I guess, by this point. Like the original Red Ranger is a bad guy. He's played by James Vanderbeek. The Green Ranger, who becomes the White Ranger later on, he's like on the run. And the Red Ranger, played by Vanderbeek, is interrogating the Pink Ranger. And they're going down their history, and you see all of them like kind of end up living fucked up lives and dying somehow. and it's really good actually. If someone said when I first heard, I heard about it on Rage Select first, and they said, "Oh my god, I mean, you got to check this out," and they're talking about it. I was like, "All right, well, I'll look at it." I mean, I doubt it's as cool as they're saying. But I looked at it like, "Oh fuck, that is really awesome," because I haven't really given it. That's one of those things. It's like it didn't really age well. It's like, okay, yeah, it was cool when I liked it, but I've kind of moved on. The action scenes are well choreographed. Beyond that, though, I don't really care. And then I see this, though, I'm like, oh, fuck, I do want to see this movie. It's probably not going to happen.
See, I'm one of those people, like, I would love to see another, like, once again, but take it seriously.
Exactly.
That's the key thing, is don't just give me kind of like a straight-to-DVD kids one, because, like, you know, I still like that original Power Rangers movie. I still think I like it a lot. But maybe it's just, like, it takes me back to a good old time of, like, 1995 or whatever that came out. And to me, it's like, I kind of, like, in a sense, once they started switching out the Rangers, that sort of told me, like, even as a kid, it's like, this isn't your generation Power Rangers. You know, you are the fucking dinosaur generation. All these new guys, that's not you anymore. So that's when I kind of, you know, fell out of it. And I think, you know, I mean, obviously it's gone through like so many incarnations from now. But if they literally did take because the Power Rangers concept, I think is really badass. And I like it a lot. I think that's something that you could do really cool. And if you do it like, because this fan fiction one was pretty cool. I liked it. You know, if you could do something like that, but just make it big screen. Once again, treat it like Dark Knight. You know, maybe not. Once again, treat it like Dark Knight, but just not so serious. Okay, let me just treat it like Batman Begins, and then you would have a great movie right there. You know what I mean? Just don't make it a kids Power Rangers movie. Make it a Power Ranger adult.
I think the thing about it though is because this fan film, it's definitely R-rated. You got like the Black Rangers doing coke and doing like military, like mercenary missions, more or less, killing off.
Was it really R-rated? I just don't remember. Like, was there copious? I don't remember. Like,
he was doing. There's a part. There was
swearing?
yeah. There was a good amount.
I remember him doing drugs, but I don't remember him like.
They
I don't think it was like.
were swearing,
was
yeah.
there like
Yeah.
fucking shit?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Skull and
I was watching it on a cell
Skull
phone,
and Scud.
so
They
like you don't get the
Skull
full
and
experience.
Scud. Like at some point, like screwed him over, became a bunch of meth heads, and they said like, we got tired of being made fun of by you like cunty little fucks. Yeah.
Maybe they did. Okay.
Which that was something I wasn't expecting to see, like Skull and Scud becoming meth heads.
Well, it's one of those ones like I wouldn't mind just seeing like
That
just making it, even if you can make it rated R, it's that much better because you're just gonna get that much
I
more
doubt
serious
they're
of a
gonna do that,
movie. But you know, realistically, you probably have to go the PG-13
No, but what they're going to do is the big controversy about this is a lot of people saw it, a lot of people liked it. So the people who are making the new movie got like all pissy about it because like, well, this is taking away focus from what we're working on. You guys don't own the rights to these characters. We own the rights to these characters. And now you're going to set up this expectation for what people want to see in our movie, which this is nothing like it. And it's just like, it's a fan film. Someone just posted online. So they're trying to get that thing taken down.
It's so dumb. Those kind of things, just like it's literally just like, fuck you. What you know what I mean? Like when somebody tells you that, just like, no, fuck you. What are you gonna do? What if I can't make my own fan film? What? Because I own the rights. Fucking legal bullshit. You know what I mean? You know, I always just say it's like, you know, the only time I feel like the legal things can maybe come in is if somebody's trying to make a lot of money off of it. If they were trying to sell this Power Rangers movie, and I guess they didn't have the rights, that'd be different. But I feel like when it comes to like fan film or fan projects, there should be nothing you can do to touch that. You know what I mean? Yeah. If anything, you should be grateful because that, you know what that does? That just puts more interest in the Power Rangers in general. You know what I mean? Because people watch this and they go, "Fuck, you know what? I haven't watched Power Rangers in a long time. Maybe they'll go out and buy the season sets. Maybe they'll go out and go, fuck, I want a fucking Megazord right here, like put next to my Transformer because the toys are pretty badass." You know.
Well, the Green Ranger, they actually approached him first about playing the Green Ranger in this fan film, but that guy, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because we briefly walked past him at Comic Con, but he.
I think that's all he does.
He takes that very seriously, and I think he might still be in the show, like coming on as a mentor or something. He says, like, I love this character too much. There's no way I can be part of this. And he turned the thing down. He's like, I would never show this to my kids. He's like, well, it's not really a kid's thing. It's more of like for the audience that originally grew up with it.
Well, that Power Rangers guy, because I was looking at like who was coming up in like the Sacramento Comic Con coming up in June, and he was there once again, and it's like you literally look at his name and it doesn't say anything. It just says Power Rangers, Green Ranger, White Ranger. That's it. Like I think that guy like literally like he's kind of like a Lou Ferrigno. Like don't get me wrong, Lou Ferrigno's really cool, but like Lou Ferrigno runs off that like he's the Credible Hulk. He was in Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Remember what happened is when we were looking.
Dot. Is there any more to this story? It's like no, that's he was on King of Queens as like the neighbor for a bit for, you know, it's like, oh, well, that was cool. I like that. But
and I Love You Man for like for a quick part.
Yeah, he gets these cameos here and there, but it's like he kind of like, it's almost like, don't you want more? You know what I mean? It's like, are you literally, are you? I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's like, are you literally gonna like ride this Comic Con wave for the rest of your life?
Why
And,
not?
like, bodybuilding.
In all honest, why not? Because how many jobs can he get where he's like, it's the fucking Hulk? No, guys, I'm not that anymore. Please stop calling me the Hulk. So
I would I would hire Lou Ferrigno to be
you
in my
would.
movie.
I
Who
would.
doesn't-
I think
Yeah.
of like the average
I guess that's
producer,
true.
right?
Yeah, you would but
I would.
Nobody else wants Lou. For hell, I'd make fucking Lou Ferrigno the star. I don't care.
Just call it Punch Time with Rue Frigno. Just have him be punching a wall for like a whole fucking like hour and a half. Yeah, sure, I'd watch that. But
He's still like, he's like 66 years old and he's like humongous still, and he's still like in better shape than like most people in America.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but the thing is, a lot of people like produce like, he looks like the Hulk. People are gonna see the Hulk. They're gonna think the Hulk. We're on a new CG sexy Hulk. We don't want this no more. I can see a lot of people being like that. So now he probably just gets what he can. And I mean, I'm not trying to bring him down because he could beat the fuck out of me. So he is. Yeah. So he is where he's at. So that's good for him. And the Green Ranger, I don't really know how much he could do or how much work he does get. I know that he loves being the Green and White Ranger, but like when we went to Comic Con that year in Sacramento, he walked right by us. He looked kind of familiar. There was this guy, like in his like late 30s, well, probably early 40s by this point, early 40s, walking by. He was holding up like an iPad as if he was filming something. We might even be on his little stream he put on his channel because he walked right by him when he was holding that thing.
Not even paying
that guy looks
attention.
kind of familiar. He had a green streak in his hair. Then all of a sudden he walks into this room filled with people, just with green. Like, what's up, Sacramento? Oh my God, it's a fucking Green Ranger! Like, oh, that must have been the Green Ranger.
I know we could have like bumped into him and been like, "Hey, you fucking asshole!"
What if he just like?
We were like that close, not even recognizing. It's like, oh, that's the Green Ranger.
What if I
what do
just
you know?
walked in the middle of the stream, just like karate chops us, like in the neck, has a really cheesy like sound effect, like whoosh, like as he does it. Oh wow!
You press a switch on his back, his head flips around, and he's got like the helmet on. Do you remember that? Like in the toys, that was like the thing they sold. It's like you put a switch on the back, and his head flips around.
That freaked me out. I thought like, is that like because I saw the toys before I saw the show, so I was like, are they just kind of like robots, like blah, 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 like their head like spins around?
You're like, what's wrong with these people?
And I remember, like, because kids at school, I mean, you're kids, so you're fucking stupid. But we would actually argue, some kids would argue, like, no. When they become the Power Rangers, they actually become robots. That's why their heads flip thing around when you, like, push the little trigger. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just a decision the toy makers made to make the head flip back like that. But what if, imagine if they actually did incorporate that into the show when they do it, like it's just they're in agonizing pain, like they just slow like it's a thing,
just like rips out and then goes around like, oh, there's like this helmet just stuck in their chest.
Like there's like you can see there is mechanics, but it's kind of mixed in there with actual blood and gore. And as they flip back, it's not like quick and like swift like they're like it is the toys. Like it's morphin' time, guys. Also they slowly slip back. Oh god, it fucking hurts! And then they're like grabbing something as it slowly rotates and flips,
rips out.
It's like
and then at some point, like one of them's got it where it's like Billy, where he's got stuck halfway. He's like, "It won't go up any farther. Push it."
They start like banging, like all the bad guys just like stepping back, like what the fuck?
Like
the putties,
the putty guys,
backing away, all scared. I forgot about the putties. Those things.
Yeah, they just had like a bit more. Which I don't know who. Somebody literally just like looked at those and go like, "So what do you think these guys should sound like?" Sits there all serious. I know. Hold on. Let me hit the mic really quickly.
Put that on a loop. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. You got that now.
I forgot about that.
But no, like I was looking at the list of kind of people that were there at Sacramento, and there is just so many of those kind of actors. I feel like they do sort of, because not to put anybody down like who goes to like the Comic Con ones, but the people that aren't comic book like artists and writers, the TV people, they're always kind of like, excluding a handful of them, they're guys that literally like, and gals, they sort of ride off one successful thing, because you are sort of seeing C and B actors. You're not seeing A-list actors.
Flash
there.
Luthor. Mike
Yeah,
Rosenbaum,
I mean, Yeah, that like there who fucking wouldn't even shake our hands, so he had nobody
Well,
in
no,
his
let
fucking
me put it
line.
this way. Let me put it this way. I'm not going to try and attack him. I'm not trying to give him like a free pass. I'm guessing
It's his fucking
it could be his agent or just a con rule thing. Because when you went to Lou Ferrigno, there was nobody there. Graham, when I went to go like Flash Lex Luthor, there was like
That sounded really
when
weird.
I went to Flash-
I went to Flash Lex Luthor.
no. He clarified.
Like, no wonder he didn't let us shake our hands. It's because you whipped your dick out before.
No text involved for this. Just let me just drop like yeah. Just go up to him.
Can he shake my
Drop the
hand?
hands.
You know.
What's up?
You know his hand.
Just look at him, just like don't break eye contact. He just stares me down, just pull it up. That's what I thought. Walk away. He's like, what the fuck was that about? Okay, from now on, they gotta pay if they want to come up here.
Yeah. Because the fucking Flasher came by.
This to clarify, the reason I call him that is because he actually. I was more excited about this. I mean, I watched Smallville growing up, but yeah, say what you will, I know. But he voiced with the bigger thing I liked is he voiced Wally West, the Flash, in Justice League Unlimited, as well as several of the animated movies. So Flash is one of my favorite characters. So that was the main reason I was looking forward to like meeting him. But we went up there. They said there was a very short line. We even made eye contact because he was talking to some people and he was even looking at us like we're part of a conversation that was going on. And I was like, I don't have any money for like a $30 autograph or a $50 picture for him to sign. Can I just walk up to him and shake his hand? He's in the middle of talking to somebody like, no, sorry, you can only go up there if you're getting something to sign. I'm like, okay, done. Walk the other way.
There was less than 5 people in this line. Like,
yeah,
me and you didn't even make it 5 people. That's how little people were in this line. I could understand that if there was like 1,000 people in his line and it was like time is money kind of thing. Mm-hmm. This guy literally had free time. Like, it was almost like he was on break.
Yeah, I could have. I mean, it's one of those things. I understand if you chart. I mean, I think that seems asking a bit much. $30 for a signed picture, from that guy. I'm not trying to put people on polls or statuses here, but
you're not Tom Cruise. That's all I have to say.
Neil Adams gave me like 2 pictures for like $30 that were signed and like person.
It was less than $30. It was like we got 2 for 15. I thought it was
something like that. So
yeah, I was like, and they're giant posters. I got fucking hanging right here in my house.
I got 2 of them right.
And yeah, and he got to talk to us and everything. It's like we didn't have to be like,
and like that's something he actually made and signed and all that. And I was like, so buying that. I mean, we could have just walked up to him and shook his hand, and that right there was just kind of. I walked up to him and just shook his hand real quick, and he said like, "You ain't buying nothing?" I was like, "Oh, I wasn't. How much is it for?" I thought this was. I missaw a price somewhere. I thought it was more expensive. He's like, "No, it's this much for those over there." I'm like, "Oh shit, I'll be right back." Went over to him. He bullied me into buying something, but I don't mind. He's Neil Adams.
He got up. He's like pushes you like, "What? You're not buying something?"
Taking his belt
Neil
off.
Fucking Adams.
Taking his belt off.
He takes his belt off. Like what's he doing? He's getting serious. He's like rolling up his sleeves.
My earning good up for you, you fucking pussy. Let's go. Starts pairing up.
Just starts punching you like a fucking sailor.
Yeah, it's like that chest pumped out, like fist up, like put your dukes up, like that old like early 1900s style boxing. Throws off like his fucking like overall straps. Like, let's fucking dance, boy.
Starts beating you up in the corner.
Dude, I'll give you $20. I'll give you $20.
Don't hit me, Neil.
Hit me $30. I'll punch you in the fucking face. Come on.
He's like, give me $20, and he just like punches you once. You're like, still, I want to punch you anyway, you pussy.
I'll take it.
Now, who am I making this out to? Ryan.
All right.
Don't fucking cry, pussy, or I'll have to get out. I'll have to punch you again.
2 pussy. Here you go, bitch. Next. Hey, Neil. I love your work. Oh, thanks a lot. Who am I making that out to? All right, Gregory. You have a good day. I go up to, okay, well, maybe Chris Claremont will treat me better. Hey, Chris, what do you want, pussy? Like,
flips the table over on it, like, oh, you're fucking coming.
Fucking dukes up.
Mister, who thinks I'm the artist of fucking X-Men?
I can explain that bullshit. Going back a year ago by now, we talked about that when it happened. I've made a total dumbass of myself in front of Chris Claremont, but I assumed that, like, he had, because everybody else at that point we saw were artists, and they all had just like pictures to sign and hand out if you had them. So I assume there might be just like, a picture of like one of the covers or something that he's done. So like, do you have like an autographed picture or something? It's like, I don't draw, son. I'm just like, oh fuck. I know. I know what you do. Fuck. I'll just walk away.
He just kind of had that look. I remember he just looked like I don't know why. Maybe just because like you know,
I just assumed that he would have like a picture of like Wolverine or something to sign. You know what I mean? I know he's the writer and not the artist, but I just assumed, and I'm a fucking dumbass for doing that. So that's where he's like, "All right, pussy, let's fucking dance." Like, oh shit, not again.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Why don't I'll draw your fucking like death date on your fucking tombstone, you fucking faggot. Like, oh god damn it, Chris Claremont. I thought we could be friends,
But I guess not. Well, this new year, if this next one coming up, they do have Kevin Conroy showing up, which that in itself,
I'm afraid my dreams are gonna get
I
shattered.
feel like Kevin Conroy's be like, "Hey, fucker, you don't got $50? I'm gonna go over in the back alley, kick you in the balls, and call it a day." Could you say it at least in the Batman
You
voice?
get paid for it. The thing about that is I wouldn't mind going, but after I want to go to a different. I mean, maybe eventually go back to that thing. Really, when we got to that Comic Con, because I didn't really feel like we didn't really hit very many of the panels, but I felt like I want to go to a Comic Con where there's like shedding some news or some exclusive stuff. That right there was basically just like the ultimate comic book garage sale combined with a couple of like big guests.
Well, I think that's what all Comic Cons pretty much are. I mean, obviously, the San
I wanna
Diego one's
see-
going to premiere movies and shit like that and put big trailers up.
Yeah.
But I think in general, that's what a Comic Con is. You're going to a flea market of comics and comic-related stuff and toys and action figures. And then, you know, and then you get your the guests almost, I think, are like what kind of brings people there. Oh, hold on a second, though. They just added somebody to the fucking Sacramento Comic Con. Danny Trejo's going to be there.
Oh, Danny fucking Trejo?
That's fucking badass. You know who else is
Oh.
going to be there? It's kind of like not nearly as cool as like Kevin Conroy and Danny Trejo, but they got the Chicken Man from Breaking Bad.
Oh, Gus, the guy.
Yeah,
with
Gus. Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty
like
cool.
my
No,
favorite
people-
characters.
That was my favorite characters in Breaking Bad. Yeah. Well, no, there is actually. I mean, I'm not trying to put everyone else at Comic Con down. I know that mostly it is just trying to sell shit, but I would just like to go to. I've been to that one before. I guess I just like to go to a different one just for variety. That one, maybe go back.
Well, I mean, it's probably gonna be. It's not gonna be like the same thing. Like
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, I know.
Even though I will say it does actually have a lot of the same guys. Neil
it
Adams
was-
will be there, so you can get beat up again by him. Even Ethan
Chris
Van
Claremont.
Sciver.
I want to make it up to Chris Claremont.
No, he's not there. He said, "Fuck it." After that fucking Ryan guy showed up, I'm never coming back. Block
Sorry,
me up. I never want to
Sacramento.
come back to Sacramento now.
I'm sorry, Sacramento. There's an anime convention coming to San Jose pretty soon. That's probably one of the biggest anime conventions there is. So I want to check that.
I know. I remember that came. That was there last year, and I thought about going, but didn't go. But
I'm gonna try and go this year. I don't know when it is, but I'm gonna Fanicon.
oh, we even get our Green Rangers back again too.
Shocker. No, I mean, well, I guess the thing is, I remember going there. I mean, I was expecting to have to pay a little bit of money for like an autograph, like $10, $15, whatever. But when I found out like $60 just for a fucking picture of, whoever, I was just like, really? I just can't get there and shake his hand. But Kevin Conroy, is he like aren't even doing panels? That'd be the really cool thing. Because at least Bruce Campbell.
They probably are. I mean, this isn't happening till like June 19th,
Mhm.
so it is a ways away.
Because
And as I said, like I looked at this only like a handful of days ago, and they didn't have Danny Trejo and some of these other people on there. So
I remember we went to go see,
Yeah.
we're going to see, well, at least we're going to see Stan Lee do a panel. And then they're like, I'm
and
sorry.
then Stanley got sick.
Stan Lee's sick. Oh, God damn it.
But no, it looks like it's got some cool people here. And they'll probably obviously add a bunch more people so far. They got all these people from like this show called Epic Inc. I don't know what it is, but they all look kind of like douchebags.
Epic what?
Epic Inc.
Epic Inc. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing maybe it's a...
I mean, it's obviously
what do they
probably
look-
a tattoo show.
Tattoo show. Okay.
I remember like when I was looking it up, kind of looked up some more information on it. Apparently, I think the thing they do is they do sort of like comic-y stuff, tattoos. Like, I don't know, maybe every once in a while they put a picture of like fucking Spider-Man like swinging down your butt crack or something. I don't know.
Like he's
I don't know.
crawling
I
his
don't know
way
what the
into
fuck
your
they do, but
fucking
these-
cheeks.
These pictures of them just don't help. There's just one guy's just like, he's got his thumbs out like this, like looking to the side.
Gang signs.
It's just like so. No, not even gang signs. Just like he's like, I'm a douche. Like, look.
Douche.
And then this other lady's just like, I'm fat, with her like mouth wide open, just yelling with like colored hair. And then there's one chick, she's got like a unicorn like sweatshirt on. I mean, she looked the most normal of the bunch. Like, I'm not judging her at all. Hey, there's a person that like did this one comic that like they kept trying to like they followed me on Twitter. That's kind of cool.
It's cool.
But it looks like it's got a bunch of cool people here. There is kind of some of the same, but Liza Dushku's there. You can ask her about True Lies and go, when the fuck's that coming out on Blu-ray? Fucking pressuring her, like, sir, get back.
And she's like, oh, that's what it's gonna fucking be. She like pushes past you, starts bare knuckle boxing me, like, oh, what the fuck? He's the one.
She fucking puts her suspenders on, snaps them back.
He was the one that fucking asked you. Like, I don't give a shit. Just starts fucking stalking me.
It's like, that's all I care about. It's like, it just seems like such a weird thing. It's like, True Lies. Okay. One of the biggest movies of the 90s. It's a Fox movie. It stars fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. And to top it off, it's directed by James fucking Cameron. Why have they not released that movie since 1997? That was the last time they made a copy of it. It was in 1997. And it's not even widescreen enhanced and no special features.
A lesser movie, but still like still a good movie to you and me. I know a lot of people hate it, but another movie it's got released in other countries, but not America. What movie that is? Blu-ray release of Mario Brothers.
Oh, they actually have that in other countries, like the Blu-ray of it.
In UK, in the UK, there's a Blu-ray release. There's Blu-ray release it there.
Well, then you could just get an all-region version. Then that's much better. Where like the True Lies never got anything. It's not even released in other countries. It's so fucking weird. And like we've been waiting for years for like it's like you thought when Avatar came out, Fox would have been like fucking hey, let's just release all James Cameron's like Fox
Cameron collection.
Yeah, like. But just think about True Lies, such a huge movie. I'm not asking for like the special feature or like the special edition version, like raw deal. Though I want that, It's True Lies. I mean, that's like Arnold's like top 5 biggest movies there is, and no special features. So I'm gonna go there and hassle Liza Dushku because I know she has everything to do with it. She is the one though that slipped though and mentioned the commentary track she did on it, meaning that it is coming out at some point.
Man, I would like to get that on Blu-ray.
It's one of my favorite movies, but I'd love just to see special features of it. And I'd love to have one that's fucking widescreen.
I think the DVD's out of print too.
What?
I want to think the DVD's out of print too.
Well, you could still buy it, but the last time they really printed it, that was like 97. It's the same copy. It was one of those movies that like they released like right when the DVDs came out. It was just kind of like, here you go, have a classic for your collection, a modern day classic.
That Satcom, it depends where I'm at in money, but I wouldn't mind going to that again. I just now that I live all the way in San Francisco, it's gonna be a whole other ordeal trying to get to Sacramento. But
well, it's not till June, so who knows where you'll be by that point.
Yeah.
So it is a ways away, but it's not like it's coming up like in the next month.
I would like to go to Fanicon though, just because I've never been to that before. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be pretty.
I guess it's gonna be fairly similar. There's always things about anime though that I don't understand or because there's the ones I grew up watching and the ones I watch now, but then there's the ones that like there's just the little internet stuff that you really got to know your shit to understand and know about, like the caramel dance or whatever the fuck. What the fuck?
I don't know what that is. I will say when it comes,
maybe seen memes or gifs of it. It's basically they got some Japanese pop song and it's like the fucking girliest thing ever. But I just see memes like, what the fuck is that? In high school, in early college, there's always those like, all right, there are people who like anime, then there's those people who like it a lot.
Yeah, those people that like almost make you not want to like anime because of them.
They're afraid they're going to associate you with these people, basically, Not to sound too judgmental, but they would do this thing. They have their hands up, their heads, almost kind of like rabbit ears. They flap them back and forth and twist their hips and do like the upside down, like smile, like yay, happy anime face. Some like pop song.
I'm so glad I've never seen this until you did it.
And then like,
that's the first time I've never seen that in my entire life.
I remember like it was I remember like somebody in my speech class was doing a project and that was part of their project and they played some Japanese. They were doing that themselves and of course it was like some really overweight girl that would wear like fox ears in public, and did that. And did what?
I've seen that many a times.
And like did that part of like project. It was like. And like on the projector, she actually had like a GIF of like an anime character doing that. There's like, so it's like that kind of. There's that kind of shit that's just kind of like, I'm confused. I feel old. I feel like I feel like what's his name? The dude that passed out, Rip Van Winkle. Like I passed out a couple of years and woke up in the woods. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that was Rip Van Winkle, right?
I think so.
He got drunk. He partied with some like Jewish ghosts. He passed out and then woke up like they're playing bowling out in the woods. He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" He's an old man all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's right. But no, like last time about anime, like I almost kind of missed those like '90s, early 2000 days when like when it was just easy to handle this anime, because now it's like I go to look at like an anime section and it's like I literally flipped through, like I think it was on like I was looking on Hulu or something. I was like, out of all these animes, I know like 1% of them on there. It's just like I'm so confused at what I'm looking at, and like 90% of them look the same. There's like about 10% of them that are different.
I just started watching Death Note actually.
And that's a pretty good one. I like that one a lot.
I
like, caught that one kind of late too, but
I'm halfway through it. It was one I didn't think I was gonna like, but everybody's just told me to keep on watching it, so I'm watching it. And I'll be honest, the very beginning, I was really.
Are you on season 2?
I believe I'm in season 2. I was really, really hooked, just so into it. Once Light joins like L's investigation, and he's in college, and he loses his memory. From there, it kind of starts to go a little downhill for me, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not that it's bad, but it's like it's not as. I guess all seasons have that bump in there, that downside. I mean, I'm still interested, but ever since the creepy transvestite Joker looking thing kind of left for a little while, it's kind of losing me a little bit. But I mean, I'm willing to ride it out, see where it goes, you know. And
yeah, you're gonna hit another big bump in the road in that show, and then it kind of changes gears, and that to me is where it kind of goes like it's not like it's bad, but like because when I first watched it, I think I watched like 8 episodes in a row.
Yeah,
like, that's how good I thought it was at the beginning.
Here.
And then like I still liked it a lot where it was like at there, but there's gonna be another bump that's gonna happen that's gonna change the whole pace of it.
Is it Misa? Because Misa's already there and kind of fucking it up.
No. You'll just see. I'm not gonna even give you hints, or else it might screw you over. But once it'll get to like pretty much I guess the second part of the show. Then it kind of like I mean I literally would watch like an episode every 3 days. It wasn't like I didn't like it, but I didn't have that like it was more like I was watching it to finish it. But you'll see.
I mean it was one of those shows that really surprised me because I saw one episode out of order just randomly on Adult Swim one day, and it was the one where he's trying to kill like the fiance of the FBI agent that he killed, and she was using a fake name, and she figured out who he was, and he only had like a block to figure out how to get her to write her name and expel her real identity. And just if you watch that out of order, it's like whatever. But when you watch the show in order, and even past that point, that show is so gripping and so good. And the guy who I'm watching the dub. The guy who does the voice of L, he's really good. Most times, I watch the dub just because anime, I think.
I like dub, unless the dub's bad.
And dubbing, like usually I don't really notice. Okay, yeah, he's passable, or he's decent. But the guy who does the voice of L, he's really good. I can tell whenever because you're kind of limited in like anime because they just flap their mouths. But whenever they get a moment away to cut away from his face, or where you don't see his mouth and he's talking, you can tell he's trying something different or trying something interesting or talking a different tone. That like, okay, well, I can get away with this because we don't see his face, So anyway, I really like that guy. I really like that guy a lot. And
the guy who plays L in the live action version of it does a really
is the live
good
action
job
one
too.
good? I hear mixed things.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of like, it feels a little bit more low budget than like the anime one. If that makes any sense.
Monster thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing is like they should have made it. What's his name?
Ryuke or what? Ryuke. What's his name? Ryuke. I think his name's Ryuke.
I'm drawing blank on his name, but they should have just made him a guy in a costume. Like, even if he didn't float, even if he just kind of walked behind him, I think it would have looked so much better as a guy in a costume than a CG. But the movie-wise, it actually is pretty cool. I mean, it's not nearly as good as the anime, and that's just to kind of be the given, but I thought they did a pretty good interpretation of it. I haven't watched 2 and 3 yet.
I'm going to try and finish up Death Note. Like I said, it starts off really good. It's at a little bit of a low point. Like I said, it's kind of making me a little sad because there's that agent chick who is actually I thought a pretty well-written character. We'll tell you who we are. Remember this anime that most people watched about 6 years ago, but Ryan just discovered it? Yeah. But
that's okay, though. Here's the thing is if you didn't see it and I didn't see it till I saw it like, I don't know, maybe almost a year ago by now, that means there's probably tons of other people out there that didn't see it.
Make a bunch of spoilers.
That's how I always
Agent
look
girl
at it.
that he kills at the beginning, like, I was so sad to see that character go because it was like, oh, cool, they got a really like well-written character here. She's really, I just really like that character a lot. And then they offer, and then like they get Misa, who is just so fucking annoying and so fucking loud, and they just, yeah, Misa, whatever the fuck. And it's just like, I almost feel like the writers of that show, they're just like, girls, no, bad, scary. I mean, like, what about that chick? She was actually pretty smart, pretty intelligent, she could do some damage later in the show. No, get rid of her. get dumb girl. Yeah, you know, I almost feel like
People like dumb. Dumb is
yeah, because
good.
she's so fucking annoying and does so many stupid things, and they just make her. I mean, I do like the part when she's just like, they try to make her all adorable, but then like she says some crazy ass shit like, if I ever see you with another girl, I will fucking kill her. Like, more moments like that would be nice. But as the moment stands, just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, she's the quirky, like over the top, very loud character, but no.
She's kind of like she's like what makes it an anime character, because you know in all animes you got to have that one character that we said it before. It's kind of like when you find a show that's pretty serious and you go like, this is like when you're a kid, like 10 years old, you're like, this is the one show I can show my parents. They'd be like, it's serious, man. It's fucking like adult. And there's always that one character that's thrown in there that you know is going to be the thing that's going to break it for them. That's kind of what she probably is, but not maybe nearly as extreme.
That's what I thought she was right there. Yeah,
she doesn't bother me that much. Like
I was thinking like, you know, I mean, because my I'm not that I would at this age, but I was thinking because like my mom, she likes CSI and like mystery shows like that. So I was thinking, you know, if I probably showed this show to her in high school, she actually might have got into it. But then Misa came in like, oh my God, Mr. Librarian, just like, there that goes, you know.
Yep, there's that character. Because that's the thing. If you can't handle those characters, or at least like look the other way when those ones come, you'll just never be able to handle anime.
Pretty much. And yeah, it's just like, oh, I just gotta just tough this out, you know.
It's kind of funny because I picked up there was these Resident Evil mangas that kind of came out. And I think they kind of translate them a little bit later because they're supposed to take place like they probably in Japan they came out when Resident Evil 6 came out, but they didn't come over to the U.S. till about right now. So because there's only 2 of the books out, and the 3rd one comes out I think in another couple of weeks. But it is this kind of one where like if it has Chris in it, but like he's really like at the moment in this first issue or book, he's only in it like a little bit here and there, but they can more just focus on like there's this teenage guy, he's a good looking guy, but he can't score like the girls, you know, kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay, why is this story in here? Even his uncle tells him that he can't score up the girls.
His creepy uncle that lives in like
and then they go to like this like Catholic school in like Japan because there's like this like somebody's been turned to like a zombie and they're trying to cover it up, and then like the uncle's like, well, I'm good friends with Chris Redfield, you know, blah blah blah, I'll get him in here, so I'll make a phone call. And then they're like kind of hold him in there and like you can't leave this you know school or whatever, you're stuck here. And then Chris is like coming on there, he's driving on his way there with him and fucking Pierre, whatever the guy's name is from Resident Evil 6, his buddy who's like kind of lame. Because in Resident Evil 6 the only thing I thought was kind of lame they did is, you know, there's a Chris story, there's a Leon story, and there's an Ada story, and then there's a Sherry Birkin story. But other than the Sherry Birkin one, like they throw in like these other characters that just should have been another Resident Evil character. With like Leon, they put like a new character in there, and it's like, well, why don't you just put Claire in there, you know? And then with Chris, they put another guy in there. It's like, why doesn't that just be Jill? You know what I mean? They do that thing.
Who's the badass guy with the glasses and trench coat, umbrella guy? That's that guy's name? He's the big
Albert Wesker.
Wesker. Didn't they throw Wesker's son in there?
Yeah, they put Wesker's son there. See, and now I thought that was fine because that's at least tied in. But Resident Evil does have that problem, and they do it like in every Resident Evil, where they always got to make another new character. And it's like, you only need so many characters. You know, bring a new character in like after a while. Let's like, can we get some more stories with the characters we know and love? You know, hell, give me more Leon, give me more Chris, give me more Jill, give me more Claire. That's like the 4 main characters I want to see more of. You know, I don't need these other ones. Don't get me wrong, I like Sheva, I like the Resident Evil 6 one. The character, I kind of like tolerate them. I thought it was cool that Sherry was in it because, you know, she's from Resident Evil 2, but whatever. So we go back to this Resident Evil manga, and it is literally this guy. It's just like he gets there, and like it's a Catholic school. They're locked down in the middle of nowhere. They're not allowed to leave. So, of course, he's like the foreigner from the outside, and like there's all these like hot chicks just kind of like walking around there. And it's just like, okay, hopefully this gets a little bit more serious than this, because that's like the game is once again a serious story, and now it's like
so Leon like tripping, like nosebleed, like fucking rockets out, like whoa, you know, like falls on top.
It doesn't have any of the wackiness in it. Like it still like keeps it like that, but it does have. It reminds me like it's kind of written like the female style of anime or manga. Like where it's like, you know, he's a good-looking guy just looking for a lover, you know, and that girl might be the one, even though it's coming from the other way around, I guess. And then like hopefully Chris Redfield will come in there and be like, out of the way, boy, and just like put his hand up and just push him away, just being like, this man time,
just walking down slow mo,
man time, just singing that.
And all the girls are all like giggling themselves like very anime fashion, like, oh, Mr. Chris Redfield.
He's got so big muscles. He's like, that's not the only big thing I got. Man town. Man town. Just like, let me do my job. I'm just such a zombie expert out of the fucking way here. And he just kind of comes up and he's like, why do you got these things fucking alive? You're supposed to kill them. Didn't you guys fucking know? I mean, I wrote this report in like 1998. Jesus Christ.
He punches the zombie in the head. The thing just explodes.
Man
I'm done. And walks out.
So I'm hopefully it'll get to that point. So it's not so like, yeah, it's just kind of focused on like, let's put a new character who's hip to the young kids, you know. He's got stylized hair. He looks good, you know. And it's just like, I don't fucking care. Like, let me see the characters I know and love. And it's just that's always been kind of a Resident Evil problem. It's just to create way too many fucking characters. But
no, I get you.
Whatever. That was the closest thing I had to like watching a new anime was that Resident Evil one.
There's another one I saw a little bit ago called, I mean, this is a little bit of like kind of a romance anime to an extent, but it was actually kind of well written for what it was. And it was, for the most part, good. It still has some of the kind of anime tropes I was kind of complaining about, but it's actually called The Devil's a Part-Timer.
Huh.
And basically it's about, I mean, they're kind of loose with it, but there's this whole other world where, you know, Satan runs it, and it's more like this medieval type world. And you know, it's like not like going by the Bible or anything too much, but it basically, you know, Satan is the evil like ruler of this medieval world and tries to destroy it whenever he can. Then they got, you know, angels defending stuff. He, during some big battle, he gets really damaged, and he and one of his right-hand men go through this portal. Mm-hmm. And when they end up in like the other end, they're in Earth. And it's actually kind of surprising because the first like 10 minutes of it, they're not speaking in, well, I guess what would be Japanese or English dub. It's in some total, I think it might even be Latin. It's there's no subtitles or anything though. And it's either a made up language or Latin. I can't really tell.
Same fucking
But they're
thing.
just walking. It ain't fucking real anymore. It's dead.
Dead language.
In time.
Do.
One thing Chris Redfield hates is zombies and Latin.
I fucking hate Latin.
It confuses me, and anything that confuses me gets fucking punched.
Man town.
No, but basically, so they end up in this other world, and when they end up in this other world, they come there, they lose all the powers. They end up as humans. They have some magic, but it can run out quickly. And he realizes, you know, he's like, oh, okay, so we're stuck in this world. We don't know how to get back, and our powers are very limited, so we got to be very sparing with our powers and our abilities. So he's just like, well, in order, we gotta basically make currency and all this. So then it just jumps several months later, and he's working at a fast food joint. But the thing is, he's actually got very addicted to, like, he's just like, oh my God, working is so much fun. He like takes his job so seriously, working at like a McDonald's is what it's called. And he actually really likes being a human, and being a human and actually kind of working like a human makes him have a lot more respect.
Sort of comedy.
It sounds kind of cheesy. It's a comedy, yeah. And he's actually, but he still talks very much like as if everything's a very dire situation, kind of like, I will not let you down, like some manager, like, hey, can you come in and fill in on Friday? Like, yeah, I will not let you down, my manager. Yeah, that's great. Okay, you have a good day. Just walks out the door. It's like, finally, I'll gain my stat. You know, they have that kind of thing, the inner monologue that all animes have. He's just like, I will gain my status, work my way up, and from this lowly position, I will eventually rule the world from here, you know? So he has this idea that if he works hard enough in the human realm, from a McDonald's, like, fry cook, he could work his way up to becoming president or something like that.
Oh, that sounds like an interesting one. See, that's kind of like how...
And it's still... It's kind of like a little bit, I mean, you still have... It's actually, for being what it is, it sounds like... I don't know about that, but it's actually pretty well written. And some of the humor in it actually is pretty funny. And... eventually, like, his arch nemesis, who's this angel girl, kind of comes in. She's in a similar situation as him, and they have this kind of uneasy truce, and eventually things from their world kind of make it come in, and that leads to a couple battles. It's a short series. It's only like it's apparently based off like I looked it up. It's apparently based off like a short novel series, and more novels are going to come out, and once the more novels come out, they might continue the anime series.
Well, that's kind of cool. See, I like when they're shorter because that's the other like nowadays it's just like, you know, you flip through and you see like 100 animes to choose from. With like, you know, 15 years ago you'd go to Blockbuster and you'd have about like 15 animes to choose from, you know, and I kind of almost miss those days when it was really easy just to kind of like pick what you want. Now you just look and you go, and so many of them look the same.
Start.
Yeah, a lot of them look the same. It's like you literally need like somebody who like sits around and just watches anime all day long and be like, "Tell me, oh wise one, which one shall I pick?" So
You want to pick this one? He's like the worst stereotype ever for like.
Buddy, he makes good decisions. So like those ones where you're telling your buddies like, okay, now this guy really knows his thing about animes. But it's very stereotypical nerdy guy, and he might be rude, a little stinky.
Yes, he does smell like he does smell like Mountain Dew and jizz, but
just get over that. Like literally, he'll pick the best anime series for you, hands down. You don't have to go through those thousands of animes that all for some reason have a 5-star fucking like review. I don't know why that is. Like you look at every anime like on Netflix practically,
because everybody has
all
like,
are 5 stars. So you're like, well, fuck, which one am I supposed to choose?
Well, I think because like the thing about Netflix is it is kind of like at niche crowd. It's kind of like looking at something on Amazon, like because there's enough people that like that thing enough. Yeah, sure, most critics may hate it, but there's enough people that like it where some like hated movie on Amazon when you come out the Blu-ray edition, like, oh my god, this movie's fucking amazing,
Yeah, some guy will literally do. That's what I always liked about Amazon. I trust that so much more because you just get somebody who like really likes a movie that kind of got shit on, but he'll like almost like save it for you. He'll tell you maybe it's not a perfect movie, but I enjoyed the hell out of it, and this is why. Blah 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 blah.
Like there is, I think that like because this movie right here, it's still. I actually saw it on Netflix. That's how I came across it. But in looking at it, just looking at the like little promotional stills they have it when you go on the Netflix menu, it looks very generic, but it actually is a funny, like pretty well written show for the most part.
I'll have to check that one out. That sounds pretty interesting. See, there we go. That's what I just need. I just need somebody to kind of like point me in the right direction when I go to look for it.
It's not, and it's some like a roommate I had for a little while pointed me in the right direction. And I was like, I don't know, dude. And he says, no, just give it a shot. And it actually was pretty good.
If it's short,
and
I kind of like that. That's my favorite.
it's like 15, 16 episodes. It's not too long.
That's perfect.
Yeah. And it's not like, I mean, I'm kind of looking for one with more grit. I'm looking for something like Cowboy Bebop or Black Lagoon.
I know.
If it's not grit, then maybe something like Full Metal Alchemist. I know that's not as gritty, but still, it's a pretty good story. I was looking for something to that effect, and it's not that, but it's still. It's a little bit more Scott Pilgrim-y. It's a little Scott Pilgrim.
Well, that's kind of cool. Then that's a good direction. I saw that the first season of Space Dandy finally came out. I was like, I'm like, I should. And I feel like that's when I'm like, you really like Cowboy Bebop. You really like Samurai Champloo. Why don't you just buy this?
I saw the first 7 episodes. I liked where it was going. I fell behind. It's one of those animes, though, where I feel like I could show Samurai Champloo. I feel like I could show Cowboy Bebop to anybody. Samurai Champloo, I feel like I can show that to somebody. Well, it's done by the same guy who did Cowboy Bebop. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, I'll give it a shot then. And this one, I don't know. I don't know if I can show this to anybody. I think you gotta like anime because Samurai Champloo, because Cowboy Bebop, there was a lot of humor in it, but it was more very dry humor. This is very like in your face, kind of over the top shit, and it is kind of clever. But it's one of those things I just can't. I don't feel like I can sit down and show somebody it without. I think I have to be explaining it as it goes on. Like we see Japanese in their culture, this kind of thing's funny,
Yeah, I know, but I feel like that's something that I would enjoy. I actually went to watch it on Hulu, and then it was like they didn't have a fucking dub version of it. I'm like, fucking bullshit. I'm not watching on a fucking tablet-sized screen something that has subtitles, and 2, it's just like, come on. It's like, what the hell? It's like
the thing about that show is actually the first anime to be released simultaneously, American release as well as Japanese release. Like they're showing it in Japan, the same time they're showing it on Adult Swim.
That's pretty badass. Yeah, I saw they had the first season, but it was kind of expensive. It was like $25, and it was only like 13 episodes, which, I mean, like, I know there was a time period where that was a hell of a deal for an anime. But this day and age, it's like, 13 episodes. I'm like, I bought 13 episodes of Batman for fucking like $12, and they were amazing, you know what I mean?
It's good. The 7 episodes I saw were good. It is just like, it's very different, though. I'm kind of, like, there's an episode where, like, it's one of those shows where everybody can die in one episode. Next episode happens, they don't even acknowledge it. It's like it never happened. So it's funny in that way, but it's one I'm willing to give a shot again.
Well, interesting. On kind of another note here, they released like these new screenshots of like the Supergirl TV show.
I saw that, and she looks
kind of like Henry. She looks like Henry Cavill, Superman, but in a female version costume.
That's
like has that same color scheme.
Yeah, I'm kind of whatever. Who knows? It could be good. I really Supergirl. It's more like, not to sound misogynistic, but Superman there. I mean, she can be
Yeah,
there.
well-
There's Superman there, you know. I've always more. I mean, you know, she's there and like she's cool, but she's never really been a favorite character of mine.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's kind of like an Arrow or a Flash that I'm gonna like kind of go out of my way to watch. It's already hard enough right now just to fucking watch all these. They have too many of them out that I feel like.
I mean, I'd be all down for a Huntress or like a Wonder Woman show, but Supergirl. I mean, I understand the appeal to her, but I just never really got into her. So it's like if she's there along for the ride, cool. But I mean, her own show.
I actually got.
I mean, I'll give it a shot.
I would say, you know what? Be kind of. This sounds like a weird one, but like, is sort of. I know, like we've read some issues that are kind of weird, but I think as far as a TV show, just as a combo, a Birds of Prey one. But if you kind of
Didn't work out the first time around.
yeah, but that was a different one. That was like back when they were like not ballsy enough to like make it. Like now they know that after Arrow and Flash did really good and Constantine, they can kind of like go like, oh, people actually like it when they're more superhero like. And if you did one where
Yeah, I think
where it
they
was
probably
just kind of a
could
mix
now.
of like, and maybe you know don't have to do it like identical to how Birds of Prey is because it switched rosters a lot. But what if you did one since Black Canary's already an Arrow, but you can almost make it a crossover. Maybe Black Canary goes into it. I don't know. Figure that one out. But just if you had sort of like this mixed match of like Birds of Prey, which it was like instead of just having Oracle, maybe she was just Batgirl in it. We didn't have to explain how this ties into other series. Maybe it was just like it's already going. We just happened.
No, I agree.
We happened
yeah.
to catch Batgirl fighting crime after she's been doing it for a handful of years. Maybe it had Supergirl in it. I know this is changing the roster a bit, and then mix in some other female superhero characters, and that's just one show. So now we can pull from Superman universe, Batman universe, Green Lantern universe, all in this one show. I think that would be kind of cooler.
Yeah,
I think this thing of trying to make all these individual shows, there comes a point when there's only so much time in the world. You know what I mean? Like, and I've learned that it's already hard enough to keep up just with the Flash and the Arrow itself.
They're actually trying to do a Atom and Firestorm show.
Yeah, it's getting to this point, and then once we start getting all these other Marvel shows coming in there, it's just gonna be like I think the market's just gonna be oversaturated. It's gonna be hard. I think some shows will end up dropping off just because there's too many of them. I mean, I know we do live in the niche age where you just kind of go like, well, okay, well, I'm gonna watch the Supergirl show. Well, this person over here is gonna focus on the Arrow show, and this person over here is gonna watch the Daredevil show. And they might come over and mix.
I'm willing to give a shot to what's her name, Supergirl show, but it's just nothing that's jumping out or grabbing me too much. It's like, yeah, it could be good, but Supergirl, like I said, never really did a whole lot for me. So if it comes out and it's good, right on. But I'm not really, just so excited.
I think the coolest thing that I read in the article is that Dean Cain's going to be in it at some point.
Cool.
And then they also actually have Helen Slater, who's like the Supergirl from that 1984 Supergirl movie, the one.
Oh, she's gonna be in there somewhere. She'll probably be like the mom or kind of like.
But I'm like, that's cool. I like when they pull those kind of cameos where it's like, you throw in the old characters. But that Supergirl movie, it's not really amazing, but probably for 1984. If you were a kid in 1984 watching it, probably great. Like, I caught it much later, so it was, fine for what it was.
Yeah. In Smallville, they had I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. It's the OG Superman. Wheelchair. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Christopher Reeves.
Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves.
When you
was
say
the
original
character in the
Superman,
show
you threw
for
me
a
off
while.
because I was like, they had fucking George Reeves in there? Like, we
George
resurrected
Reeves.
him back from the
George
dead!
He just comes in like, I don't know how I'm supposed to be Superman with all this responsibility. Roar! Just comes in, attacks Tom Welling as a zombie, like, oh fuck!
Oh! The ghost of George Reeves is back.
Into the show kind of quickly, but it was worth it just to see the ghost of George Reeves attack Tom Welling.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. That's the one thing. I have a fear that they're getting all excited now. Like, producers are like, these things are all cash cows. Throw them out there. Do it the way that the fans want. But then there's going to become this point where it's like nobody's going to have enough time to watch all these shows.
That's how I feel. I mean, I am.
And the sad thing is, I feel like that's going to make some of them die off. The only reason why they're going to die off is because there's just too many other ones, so that's why they're going to have to cut them.
I mean, I am looking forward to some of these shows, but like you said, there's so many of them. Like, I mean, I'm kind of behind on Flash. I think as soon as like season 1, part 2 of Flash would start, you think I would have jumped right on that. I'm gonna get to it, but I fell a little behind, and I just gotta jump on that. So it's like once they have all these other shows, I do feel like it's gonna be kind of oversaturation. I don't think it's gonna kill comics or superheroes. I think everything comes back in waves.
No, I don't mean like it's gonna kill comic books. I just mean it's gonna like. some of these it's that thing that you can only have so many at a certain time. TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
You can only run so many sitcoms at once. You can only run so many like action shows. So if you run all these DC and Marvel movies, there's going to become a limit where there's just not going to be enough money and enough time and enough viewers for each one of these shows. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get you.
So that's the thing. That's where I feel like the smarter thing to do is don't separate these characters so much. Is just condense them together like a Justice League thing. Like, why don't you just do it like the old school Justice League? Because in the old school Justice League, Batman and Superman weren't part of it. They used to just use, they're like, well, Batman and Superman sells well, so don't throw them in there. Let's just try to sell these other characters that don't sell nearly as well. That's what they should do, is they should just make a Justice League TV show where it happens to have Supergirl, and maybe even tie in the Flash and Arrow all into this universe. And then
What if just Society, like the oddball ones, just Society or whatever?
Well, that's even odder, though. Like, because you still want to have it for, like, it's on TV, so they're kind of trying to get it. But I'm just talking about, like, the shows they already have. Why don't you just run those shows all together, like, sort of, in a sense,
I mean, I think they will probably. I think eventually leading them into each other for like a big, broad special would be pretty cool.
No, I'm not talking about a special. I'm literally
being,
talking about like just instead of making just a standalone Supergirl movie, why doesn't it just be a combo of like a couple different shows? As I said, like the Birds of Prey one. Why don't we just or even just make it the Batgirl Supergirl like show? Like, so
that could be good. Yeah.
Just make it a little bit more interesting. I know they like to do the slow. Let's get to really know the characters and their life and stuff. And I know that all these characters have all this story and stuff. But once again, there's just only so much time you can have for this. I mean, like, they have that, like, I keep seeing the ad for it. They have, like, that Agent Carter show for, like, Marvel. And it's just like,
yeah.
Is Captain America in it at all? Like, no.
I bet what they'll end up having, they'll probably have, this is just a guess, but, because that right there, I mean, I love, Captain America 1 is one of my favorite of the Marvel Studio movies. But that right there, I could see it possibly being something to the effect of, like, what if they use a lot of these old, outdated, like, Marvel characters from, like, 1940s, which we don't see that
That'd be
much,
cool.
or which are not likely to come into the movies. Like, original, like, Human Torch. I don't mean, like, Fantastic Four Human Torch. I mean the original
Vision?
robot
That's what you're
Human
talking
Torch.
Well,
Vision's
yeah, but
actually
Vision
gonna
is
be,
the
yeah,
original
he was
Human Torch
originally
character, but
Torch.
that's Vision.
Yeah. But Vision actually is going to be, maybe they'll show him as Human Torch, but Vision is actually going to be in Avengers 2. He's in the new trailer.
That was like the first thing I was like, where the hell is Vision this whole time? I'm like, that's the original.
He just shows
literally
eyes
the
at the
original
end.
Marvel superhero, and he has yet to get anything. No credit whatsoever. So fine.
We see his eyes and his little like dot thing on his head at the very end of like the
Yeah, I
newest
know
trailer.
we finally get him in there, so that's cool. That's like that's the number one thing I'm looking forward to in that movie is Vision.
He's going to be kind of like, for fans, he's probably just going to be like the silent guy who appears a few times in the background, like, hey, who are you? Then kind of comes in, helps him out at the last minute. I'm guessing that's what he's going to be, but he's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, he's not going to become like one of the main Avengers in that one. I mean,
maybe by 3 or 4, but who knows?
Yeah, if that even. I don't know. I feel like he's a hard character to sell to regular people, but I just think of him as like, dude, that's literally, he's pre-Captain America. I mean, he is the first, superhero for Marvel.
Well, we got him, and they already sold Guardians of the Galaxy. You could probably sell Vision at some point. I mean, you can't just starring Vision, the new Vision movie, just Vision only. You got to lead him in with something else. I think once you lead him in
Oh, no, I
Avengers,
wasn't talking about like, he doesn't have to have his
spots.
own movie. Once again, I don't think everybody needs to have their own movie. It's like we can do some combo movies here. Like, we can make the Vision and Hawkeye movie. That'd be fine with me. But just give the characters that don't get enough screen time in the regular Avengers like more like screen time.
I want to see Matt Fraction's like Hawkeye stuff like made into like a movie or like one of their Netflix shows. But Jeremy Hawkeye, I forgot his last name, but Jeremy Renner is probably too big of an actor to probably do a Netflix show, so that's probably not going to happen. But still, I would like to see like some Matt Fraction stuff. Just make it kind of like a 1970s style like muscle car action comedy kind of with Jeremy Renner because that is Hawkeye. Cause that's basically what Matt Fraction stuff is. As long as they just give him a costume.
So. It doesn't have to be like 100%, but just give him. I would take a 10% costume. Like at this point.
That's the new costume. That's
That's why I kind of stopped getting into Hawkeye because I just don't like the way he looks, and it's just like. I don't know. It's just like without the costume, it's just one of those ones. Like sometimes it's like it's like if Batman didn't wear the cowl, he just like walked around with like his mask off, and you'd be like, why? He's wearing a pair of sunglasses. That's his new thing. And you're like, That's fucking stupid. Like, put the cowl on him. That's Batman. You don't take the cowl off him. You know, it's like Superman just going like, you know what? Fuck this S. Fuck it up its stupid ass. And it's like, well, that's kind of part of your trademark thing. I mean, I still think that not having the briefs on is weird looking at you, but, you know, I accepted that one. That's a little bit more minor, but, you know, or Batman just saying, you know what? I don't need the bat symbol anymore. That's just dumb. You know, rip it off my chest. I'm going to put... Fuck! I'm not gonna put anything on there.
I don't think it's anything as extreme as that.
I think that is because
he's not as iconic. He's not as iconic as Batman. Or you don't say originally, like probably 10 years ago, you'd say, "Who's Hawkeye?" I don't know. Wasn't he like a member of like A-Team or some bullshit?
My entire life, because that's always been one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I think it's just one of those ones like he doesn't have to be like fluorescent blue and purple, you know, but at least just like you could take the ears off if you want. At least just give him a mask. Like, that's all I'm asking. And give him, like, just make him look cool. Don't just make him look like he just came out of some, like, regular military movie. Like, give him at least, you know, a little bit. And that's why, like, those new comics, I don't really care how good the writing is. It's like, if he doesn't look cool, it's just, like, it kind of loses me there. It's just, if I have to look at him, I want him at least to look cool. I want to see something. Plus, you know, he's iconic enough. I mean, he's one of the biggest Avenger characters. I know nowadays he's not considered that, but there was a time he used to be much bigger than a lot of these other guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, just give him a costume. You can modernize it a bit if you want, but just don't. They took it away like completely, you know. Might as well just give him a suit for crying out loud if that's what you want him to be, so plain and generic looking, you know. Because that was like when I first saw him, like when they first showed him in the Iron Man 2, is like, because that's when he first came in, right? Hawkeye, when Jeremy Renner was playing. I didn't even realize it was Hawkeye because it's like it just didn't look like him until it said his name. But I don't know. That's my thing though. It's like, I know it's to you because Hawkeye's kind of a new character to you that you could kind of.
I've always known about Hawkeye, like Hawkeye.
But I mean, like you've kind of accepted it, sort of, since like you weren't used to him for like your entire life. But
I mean, I've seen him in stuff. I've seen that character. I just I started by the time I started reading comics, he was in the progression of switching outfits basically. By the time I started reading, so. I can see where you're coming from, but that just given since, you know, right when I started reading, that's where the Hawkeye I kind of knew. It's like, all right, well, at least they're pulling from something rather than just pulling something out of their ass. Maybe it's the new version, but regardless, they're pulling from something rather than just like, oh, I don't know if I'm not sure if the American people can handle this. So just put them in the suit or whatever.
Well, I think what bothers me the most though is just the fact that everybody else is in their suit. You know, it would be different if it was sort of like they did it kind of like the first X-Men movie, where they kind of like put them all like in black jumpsuits. Like if Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, if all those guys were wearing black jumpsuits and then Hawkeye was wearing his black jumpsuit vest, then I'd be like, okay, everybody else is. I guess, that's like a complaint. That's a huge complaint in itself, but whatever. Where he's the only guy who's not in his original costume. Like all these other guys are wearing their old school kind of costumes, you know what I mean? So I think that's just what bothered me. It's just like when you really like a character and then they kind of like change it on you, then you're kind of like, I don't know. It's just one of those things. As I said, it's like it's almost like if you took the cowl off Batman. That's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean?
I want to say it probably starts with Mark Millar or the guy that wrote during Ultimate.
I think it starts in the Ultimate series because.
Or the guy that not the guy that wrote, the guy that drew all Mark Millar's stuff. I don't know whose idea it was, but yeah, I think it starts.
Because I know because that's pretty much Ultimate Hawkeye. It's not regular Hawkeye. But I don't know. To me, it's the same thing as taking the cowl off Batman, you know, and giving him a pair of sunglasses and a vest, you know, and you'd be like, "That's Batman." And you're like, "That's not Batman." Well, no, that's Ultimate Batman. And you're like, "Not my Batman." And that's like I feel with Hawkeye. It's like they're not my Hawkeye. Like, you know, I'm saying like put a dark purple vest on him. A dark purple vest. Dark purple gloves. If you want, just do it kind of like in like the tones that are in like Man of Steel. And then just give him a mask that he can wear over his head like Captain America's. He doesn't have to have the ears. It's once again, I'm not asking for much. I'm asking just for a slight fix of costume, but I don't know. Maybe someday somebody will get smart and fix it.
Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige, yeah. If you want me to read your book, fix his costume. Then I might actually read it. Till then.
You had a book come out?
Is that the guy? Oh,
that's the Marvel producer.
Who's the guy that wrote the book? Matt Faction. If he writes a book where Hawkeye at least is in his original costume, he doesn't have to be in the whole time. He doesn't have to be like in the shower wearing his original costume, but
he's like, what if just to spite you? Like, whenever he goes in the shower, he's wearing the fucking cowl. When he's out of the shower,
he takes it off.
Like, She's like, Clint, what's with that? Like, I have a condition. Get off my ass.
I don't like water touching my face.
It's a condition. I don't want to talk about it. You went up against Ultron. I don't want to talk about it. Oh fuck. Okay.
He clearly doesn't want to talk about it. Well, it's kind of like, okay, it's like, I look at it this way. This sounds weird. In Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they at least put Hawkeye in his original costume.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Come on, at least give me the dignity there. I don't know. You know what it reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of like, this goes back to like the TV shows really quickly, but it's kind of like Gotham. That show is the one that's like, it's not like it's a bad show, but the whole time you're watching, you're like, I'm watching a Batman show, but there's no Batman in it. And there just comes a point where you're just like, you know, I don't know if I care enough. You know? There's 1,000 Batman comics I could go pick up right now, and guess what? They pretty much all have Batman in them.
Or the villains in costume.
Yeah, it's weird, kind of like, that's the one thing about Gotham. It's just one of those that concept that's like, okay, don't get me wrong, I like Jim Gordon, I like these characters, but you want to know why I watch Batman? It's for Batman. You want to know what's the second thing that I'll watch Batman for if Batman's not in it? Dick Grayson. If you don't really got those two characters in it, or at least give me Damian or Tim Drake, I'm kind of not there. You know.
I mean, it's one of those shows. I mean, I get what they're doing. It's a prequel. I mean, I haven't watched it since the mid-season finale, but I'll get back to it. I'm just in no major rush to watch it. But I mean, I wouldn't mind checking it out eventually, you know, because it's one of those things like now, ever since I got Netflix, I'm like, oh, wow, I can watch whatever on Netflix. But now I'm like, what the fuck are you fiddling with there?
I took plastic off something.
Okay. So, just what the fuck is that, you know? But anyway, it's like you're twisting.
It's actually it's actually a Superman, like, hand sanitizer
Oh,
thing.
well, it's Superman, so you know it's good.
So you know it's safe. You know he's protecting yourself.
Exactly.
See, like, he's throwing a punch for you against germs and bacteria. He's like, get the fuck
I wonder
out
how
of
many
here,
kids
germs.
like rub themselves in that and they go up and start shit with someone with a gun.
Like, I'll get my superpowers. Probably some kids like think that you could like drink it and like get superpowers.
He's just like, oh, it hurts. It's just the conversion from Kryptonian DNA. That's all it is, Mom. Don't worry. You know, just vomiting.
Don't worry. But yeah, that's just my Hawkeye rant, and my Gotham rant, and such. But I hope Supergirl does well. I just hope they throw in characters and they throw in sweet fight scenes.
That's how
I'll say this: if they threw in like Man of Steel fight scenes into it, that might change my mind of watching it. If I could get those on a daily or on a weekly basis.
It's more likely going to be It's more likely going to be like a not trying to restart the conversation, but it's more likely going to be kind of like a girl detective show that leads into like the last minute. She throws on the outfit and like slams into somebody off screen, and then like throws a punch, maybe laser eyed somebody, and then you know that's kind of what Smallville was. It was almost kind of like. It was kind of like Teenage X-Files. At the very end, he'd be Superman for a minute, and that was it.
Well, hopefully, because the one thing this is what I've from the very beginning of Arrow. Arrow has been really good about constantly having tons of action in it. You know, you get a good like 15, 20 minutes in an episode worth of like sweet action scenes, from car chases, the like kung fu fights, shooting arrows, shooting guns, all kinds of things. So if you could just give me like 10, 15 minutes of that, of like Supergirl like throwing people through buildings and shit, that'd be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if it does that, that'd be cool. I don't know if they will. I mean, I'm hoping.
I mean, the Flash even gets.
I hope the Flash is pretty good with the action too. So, I mean,
that's
usually a lot for a long time, superhero shows, live action ones, it'd be like, all right, there's some kind of mystery they're trying to solve. At the last minute, this gives them a reason to throw on the costume and like struggle against someone for like 5 minutes. And that's that. So, I mean, now they're.
That's like Lois and Clark with like Dean Cain.
Yeah.
Dean Cain's one of my favorite Supermans, but it is that kind of show, and I think that's just due to like the time period and the money. And you couldn't just have him like throwing punches. Well, I don't see why you couldn't have him throwing punches every single time. Hell, just have Superman like fucking roundhouse and people left and right, and like he doesn't be flying and shooting laser beams. Let's just have. Give me a couple of those and I'll be satisfied.
You weren't pissed off that he was snapping necks. Wait till he starts roundhousing heads off. That's gonna become his new staple.
He learned something from Chuck Norris.
Right.
But
seems a good spot to end.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's probably a good place to take it in there. So make sure to go check out oldmanorange.com. You know, you can send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Rate us, review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and any of those other fine sites out there. Until then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.